had those calls that did not go our way. Where
you got Mr. Pro Driver here, and he should know how to drive a freaking car at this point.
Ooh.
So,
well, we do have call outs. Are you officially calling him out for round 2?
If he's not going to park in front of me and cost me the rest of the weekend, yeah.
Welcome to What the Drift Podcast with your hosts, Formula Drift drivers Andy Hately and Jeff Jones.
This is What the Drift, episode 8.
Episode 8, yay!
Yeah, dude.
Damn it, I didn't know we were starting that quick. You just hopped
No,
into
we're
that.
starting.
Okay.
Well, we actually started before. We'll start before that.
We're prepared.
Yeah, maybe like 10 or 15 seconds before that. So on this episode, first of all, HotPit was awesome.
Yep.
Great turnout. Awesome event. First event at Irwindale. Killed it. You did an
Killed
excellent
it.
job. Very proud of you, buddy.
No one died.
Very proud of RJ and Rob and everybody involved.
All of the boys and girls
Cone boys.
put in some work.
Seriously. Yeah, I rescued some cones too that day.
That was a 3-day load-in.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And then a practice day.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
then a comp day.
Yeah.
And then essentially a whole other loadout day the day afterwards.
Yeah.
Yep. Putting gear, pushing it to other places
Yeah.
in the back of trucks. Still,
Yeah.
There's still gear in my truck right now that needs to get in the garage.
I basically just unloaded all this stuff because these were the mics that they were using for the announcing.
Yep. Hey, thanks for that. It made it look good, right?
No, it did look good. Yeah, I like.
Does it smell like Gary or Chris?
A little bit. I think this was Gary's mic.
Yeah.
Definitely smells like
Got
Gary.
used a lot more.
Yeah, seriously.
Chris's throat was out the window.
Yeah, he was a little messed up during.
Yeah. Good day to have a broken voice. That's okay.
Right. The day that you have to announce. Okay, so on this episode, we're going to be talking about some controversial battles that happened at HotPit, and is just sort of going over random battles and stuff like that. We have both of our judges here, Chris Lykup and Riley Cahill, both. Oh, and you're the third judge, I guess. We have all three of the judges.
All three judges are here.
I'm the only one who's not a judge.
Well, you have judged, though.
So nobody's
you
mad.
Judged last year.
Nobody's mad at me, though.
Just not on
I'm
this
just
one.
Very happy that no one's mad at me right now.
I was going to make you judge round 2, but you said you're trying to dip town.
Everybody gets to be mad at you. It's great.
God damn.
Yeah, I'm going to dip out. I don't want to judge. People get mad at you.
Yep,
it's not fun.
Well, let me put a few things up front first. With judging criteria with HotPit. So this was round 1, right? It's our second year of doing it, but me and Riley have been judging for a few years together, right? We judge all of Drift League together, and these dudes have been around drifting forever, right? So we'll give them a quick little intro here in a second. But with HotPit, we wanted it to be something that's fun and a quick, digestible show.
Yep.
Right? We all know drifting.
Yep.
But once you start adding technology and replays, then you get to scrutinize the heck out of things, and so.
And it got complicated. This event with the real live stream, it was.
It can get complicated.
Yeah.
I had asked these guys specifically, like, judge it how we used to when we were just having fun. Let's not go down the Formula D rabbit hole. And which Formula D, nothing bad about it, but it's just that is the top of, money on the line. So you want to make sure you're making the right decision there, right? So they will scrutinize every single little thing there.
More money, more problems.
More money, more problems. And we are already running into that. But so going into that, we said we're going to have some fun judging. We're going to judge it similar to how the audience would see it. We went over a few different runs prior to the event, discussed some runs and how we felt about them, wanted to all be on the same page. And so these two gentlemen.
2 goofy runs that we're going to specifically go over. And we got the drivers ready to come in as well.
Yep.
We're all going to have a big discussion, a big powwow all together.
Exactly. And I will be the first to admit that as a judge, it's tough. You can only judge based off of the material given to you at the time, right?
Yep.
You can look at some things afterwards and maybe change your mind or maybe not. And maybe it solidifies your opinion. But we wanted to make it to where it was fun. It was something the audience understood and could agree on. In FD, you can have the smallest wheel bobble, and it can change the outcome of the entire run. and it's like, hey, there's still a whole other 99% that we didn't talk about.
Do you think drivers would approach an event like say there was an event like Hot Pit with no money on the line, like no cash prize? Do you think they'd approach it with more of a calm demeanor because there's not money on the line?
Well, it's not just money on the line. It's also they spent less money to be there, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Like me and you, we travel to Atlanta.
Yeah.
We're already 10 grand in the hole
Yep.
before we did a lap.
Yep.
And that's not even counting the car that we built.
Yep.
Right? So that's just, you're already into it that much more. So if you lose or you don't qualify, it's just hard to swallow, right? So I mean, I get it. I get the passion behind these guys. But okay, let's introduce our two judges, right? We'll start with Chris Lycup. Do we see him? We see him on their camera right now?
Yes.
Nice.
He's on a sim rig. He's looking fancy.
Chris, real quick, how long you been drifting?
Mr. Sim Magic.
What's
over
your
here.
career? Spit it out real quick.
Let's see. I got into drifting back in, I want to say, 2003. As a fan, just like the rest of us, I'm sure. Was hitting up P1, Nopi events, and got into it back in. Actually started driving in 2005, 2006 with the 626 drift crew. From there, started competing after a few years. Just drove, top drift. Got my FD license. Spotted for Osbo and ESSA for a year or two each, and then now I've just been driving for fun and simming.
It looks like you brought your car into your house.
I did.
Nice. How's your wife feel about that?
Well, I got this whole spare room just for this, so that says a lot. She's like, "Get that shit out of my living room."
Yeah.
Okay, so can we get a bigger place? And
So
she
you
said,
just back a 13 in there and then
Pretty much.
cut the
yeah.
roof off. I
Yeah.
like it. I like it.
Yeah. No, I've seen sim rigs really do that.
I got two man caves. I got the garage
Mm-hmm.
and I got this room. So pretty
Sweet.
simple.
So what year did you do FD?
2011.
Are you still paying it off?
No,
No.
definitely not.
Smart guy.
I got out quick enough to know, what battles are to keep fighting for myself, and made a financial
Maybe you turn that down.
to back out sooner than later.
Sweet. Hello. We'll get to you
Hi.
in a minute. Shelly, thanks for joining us. Please hit
Yeah.
the mute button for a little bit and we'll be hollering at you. All right, let's introduce Riley, who is who I've been judging next to for a long time, and I feel like most of us have been driving with and BSing with. So, Riley, give us a quick rundown of your brief history of drifting.
Yeah, kind of crash course. Started driving back end of 03, 04. First comp was 05 at Willow. Never did FD stuff. Got a D1 invitational license when they did Anaheim, the year that Forrest blew up in all his battles with Kumakobu, but was
Yep.
too poor to build a car properly to pursue that professionally. And then in 2010, joined the Falcon Motorsports team as a crew chief, car manager, whatever you want to call it. First for James Dean on his first appearance stateside with Teal and Blue, and then moved on over to Dai Yoshihara the year that he won the championship. And yeah, been around drifting ever since then, and started street drifting, back in the day, and then got to tracks, and the rest is history. I'd probably be a lot richer if I didn't even. I mean, you guys compete, so you spend even more money. But damn, I look at the money that I could have in the bank.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I got out good.
Yeah, could, but if you drift, you don't have money for a secret family or any bad addictions outside of drifting,
It's a
so it's
secret
fine.
drug.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a different type of drug.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right, so there's our two judges.
Yes.
And real quick, history. 2003, they got into it. They've both been driving the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
So, regardless of their, competitive level or not, these dudes have been driving, have seen the history of driving, which I really love and appreciate. Because drifting has changed waves, right?
Yeah.
You had the different waves of competition level, horsepower levels, proximity levels. So these dudes, I felt like, really got it and understood how to judge it.
Mm-hmm.
And so, again, we were judging it for fun, scrutinizing, but not to the T of like, oh, your front tire bobbled for a second, you got a zero, you're out.
Yeah.
Because FD, again, it has its place, but goddamn, it can get very tough over there on that end.
Yeah, and to be a judge, you got to be a little bit, critical, and it's hard to be that, when you're trying to be nice. And I was watching these guys judge up in there, and they were being so mean, and but it's what they need to do. They're being critical of the driving, and I'm watching. I'm like, God, I couldn't.
You
It's
judged
so hard.
the
I know, I did, and I had to be mean, and it sucked. I didn't like it. I don't like being mean.
How do you guys feel? Because judging for me is just math. It just adds up to what it is.
I wouldn't say that we were being mean. I think we were just trying to be critical and very analytical on the runs. I mean, although I know we say it's for fun and stuff like that, it's still competition, and those guys are, putting their hard-earned
Hold on,
time.
Andy hit a button, and you are just now these two squares going around each other.
It's not loading his full screen
what
for
happened to
some
you, bro?
reason. It's loading
Well,
him there.
Yeah, it likes you there. Doesn't like you there.
Yeah. No.
It doesn't like your full
All right.
screen image, bro.
Well, we're
you've
leaving you
scared it.
half screen for now.
Half screen for now.
Yeah.
So yeah, real quick again, how do you guys approach judging drifting? You got any theories on it? Are you just mean off the bat?
And you guys did in qualifying. You guys did line angle style. You split it up. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. And then in tandem, do you guys sort of run it that same way, or are you guys sort of looking at more overall, or is there,
Overall.
Okay.
I look overall. So
Yeah.
I mean, everyone's so accustomed to FD judging style, right? And that's the hard part in a sense because that's what people are accustomed to. So many feeder series, so many people going for their licenses, right? And Hot Pit, the whole idea is to bring back kind of the spirit of drifting, the essence of drifting. And so in tandem, I look for the overall impact of the run, lead to lead, chase to chase, right? Like how sick is it? Like we want exciting driving. If you have a bobble, it's a bobble. But on the flip side, it's still a competition, right? So you have to get them to, we got to find that happy medium, within judging and making it work.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely agree with that. There's so many different styles of drifting and so many different styles of judging in different competitions. You look at DMAC, you look at FD, you look at D1. D1 uses the D box or drift box or whatever it is.
Yep.
I don't know why they still use that. I'm sure there's certain advantages to using it, but I think Jeff and I talked about, I believe DMAC judges runs based on lead to lead, chase to chase. Like there's one judge that's a lead judge, there's a chase judge, and then there's an overall judge. But combining all those together and also making it exciting and trying to keep the spirit of drifting alive, you kind of have to combine everything together and look at the overall picture of what drifting is.
Yeah, I'd like to see a combination of sort of something like the drift box where that data is incorporated into the judging, but not so much as they do in D1 where it's pretty much everything, There's a lot of sort of windows for error with that where in between the zones that they're not judging, a driver will go almost full straight, then flick full angle, and it makes for some almost unchaseable stuff that would give you that perfect lead line score. But I do like to be able to see the data as far as acceleration, deceleration, throttle position, all that stuff would be great to incorporate. Even if you could have some sort of measurement on steering angle or vehicle angle, or look at both of those.
All that stuff costs money, boy.
It does, but
money, lots of it.
FD's got a lot of. They got more money than HotPit.
Yeah, they got way more money.
They should
but
be
it seems
doing
like
yeah.
What's the EDC? What the hell are they called?
VDC.
VDC?
The
No.
Virtual Drift Championship. Or?
I mean, that's the only way you could really do it in virtual
Which one?
drift.
The Europe.
Because then you could have all that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that'd
no,
be
the European one I feel like has the most technology. It
Drift
seems like it's going on. Drift Masters.
Mm-hmm.
Seems like they got the most technology going on.
Mm-hmm.
They got a lot of funny things happening when you're watching the screen down
Yeah.
at the bottom. This guy hit a proximity. This guy hit that.
Yeah, it's a little
clipping point.
confusing with.
I almost feel like they
little...
just have an intern like, yeah, he got it. Yeah, he got
Mhm.
it. I don't know if he got it, but yeah, he got it.
Yeah,
It
there's-
makes it look like he got everything at least.
It's a
I
little.
remember, didn't FD do the whole proximity thing too?
They
for
had a
a-
slider one year where they were like, the judge would slide to who he thought was winning at the time
I
during the
remember that.
battle.
Yeah, and it made the little needle that was
Yeah,
going to look
yeah,
like
yeah.
a little
I don't know if
dino
they ever had
sheet.
it a proximity of like
Yeah.
car to car.
I remember they had like proximity sensors on like the clipping points and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I
I
don't
probably
know.
lost too many of those.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, the easiest way to do it would be like a big ass rubber band.
Mm.
And as long as you don't break the rubber band in between the two cars, maybe they're like on two roofs, right? And then you're if it gets too
You
far,
gotta
it
be
breaks
close
and you
enough.
lose.
Yeah, yeah.
But you know,
Yeah.
maybe it somehow could keep like a point system. That's just like video game stuff. I
Yeah.
don't know.
Cool
Yeah.
noodles.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
Pool
pool
noodle, yeah.
use pool noodles and just put them on the corners, the front and rears of each car, and they're just driving. And if they're touching pool noodles, you know they got good proximity.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we used to do that back in the day in the 66 like little fun comps and stuff like that.
All right. Well, we have a couple guests on here.
Yes, we do.
We want to get them on here. I know they need to get somewhere. Let's check out the course. Let's see what we're looking for,
Mm-hmm.
and then let's bring these guests on here so we can have them
Well-
banter about their battles.
We have some of their battles ready.
Okay,
to
who do we
go.
got? Who do we got?
So
Here we
have
go. Can we get a
Chell.
qualifying run in though?
Uh,
Oh, we don't have qualifying here.
we did not.
Did anyone have a single run? No one had a single run, huh?
Maybe. I mean, I could pull up just some randomness real quick before we go into
What do you
the
got there,
actual
bud? You're
battles
looking at
that I
Chris
have
Rock versus
lined up.
Will Smith. You got some. You looking for a new bed? Is your
I-
bed
I
at home
guess.
bad?
No, I got it, man. It's
Yeah,
pretty
we're
nice,
just
yeah.
checking out all of your Google stuff. What you've been looking at? Holy
Oh,
moly, that's loud!
Jesus.
Sorry, headphone users.
Good lord.
Good lord,
Which
you
one
didn't
is
hear that? Freaking
That
blew
is-
my ears out.
This one. Well, I had to turn it up for them. That's the problem. Actually, it should stay up because they need to stay up. We need to take down this volume.
See, you said it was me, but it's really like up. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I think at some point my laptop is gonna die, and they're not gonna be able to see us. Just saying. All
Well,
right, there's
that
the
sucks.
course. Oh, there's a little virtual run through at
Yeah.
some point.
Yep. Yep.
Get the virtual run through.
I'm looking for it.
It's
Full
yep.
screen.
We're full screen now. Check it out.
Well, we can just watch.
Back it up. Back it up.
We'll just watch Rudy run.
All right,
He
here's
does
a
he
here's
does
a
good
Rudy
lap.
Henson jamming through.
Just so you know, you guys, we can't see what you guys are watching.
Well, it sucks for you.
Oh,
It's just,
whatchamacallit.
Hold on.
I forgot.
Andy's got to figure this out.
I gotta share
gotta
my
share the screen.
Yeah, I
It's
need to
okay.
share my screen
Share
here
your
with
screen,
you guys.
bro. Be professional.
I'm trying, bro. I'm trying.
How do I plug in my laptop so it doesn't die? Christina, did you bring that charger? No? Oh, you guys are just screwed here in a minute.
Okay. So you should be able to see my screen now. Hopefully.
You got a mosquito in here? I swear I got bit on my chin.
Maybe.
You hear that? It's itchy. It's fuzzy. I don't
Why
know.
are you so fuzzy, bro?
'Cause I've been in the hospital for like 3 days, bro.
Why?
Didn't get to shave.
Oh. Is it
Oh,
because
well-
you didn't shave? That's why you went to the
It could
hospital?
be.
Yeah.
We won't talk about that part. We'll leave that part out of this.
All right. So, yeah. Rudy Hansen versus Jake Gonzalez here.
Well, Rudy is our #1 qualifier.
Yes.
So let's see what the beans that he brings.
Should be a pretty good example of
Bring
a
the
lap here.
beans.
You're asking, well, there's trucks already on. It's okay to
Oh
park on
God,
two
we gotta
roads.
listen to Gary.
Yeah, Gary yelling at people in
Gary
trucks.
is hilarious.
Velociraptor in Jurassic
It's
Park.
the
That
hardest
is
part of
unacceptable.
judging, is judging and listening to Gary.
Gary's going off in the background.
Okay, Rudy
It's
and Jake
amazing.
are finally at the line. We are here at the main event. We are all systems go. All the judges are giving me the thumbs up. It's the #1 qualifier versus somebody who barely made it in. Yeah, I told him that earlier. So Mr. Miller has informed me, and I will inform you again. #1 qualifier versus somebody that barely made it in. So like they say, be happy you got here, because you never know where you could end
You
up.
guys gonna get a starting light
Rudy
eventually?
Henson,
Probably
leading.
not.
Wow, yeah,
Probably just get another model
he's
up
doing
there.
what he's doing. Jay Gonzalez following. Jay Gonzalez
You
is
should have her
not
dramatically drop a
victim
handkerchief. When the
today. He
handkerchief hits
wants
the
to
ground,
stay
they
in
go.
this competition. Let's
All right,
see
so you
what
got
he has to
zone
do.
1.
First
Now
outer
Rudy's coming
zone.
into zone 2.
Rudy and Jake are fulfilling
That's
that. Let's
definitely
get
a
to that
harder
second
part of
outer
this
zone.
entire
Let's get-
course is
oh,
getting into
my
outer
goodness.
zone 2.
Yeah,
Jake couldn't
exactly.
hold it.
Shooting
Tough,
into
tough
zone
to get
3
in, tough to
Now,
follow.
Rudy Henson,
Is
all
like
he
going to
has
be a
do is
big
finish
decel.
out.
Rest of the track, I'd say, is pretty easy.
Yeah, zone 3 was tough to hit if you didn't, if you set yourself up for it right, it would just pull you to the inside. You had to make some magic happen to fill the zone completely with either left foot brake or some e-brake or shallow angle or do, some clutch work or funny stuff. It was
All right, mute Gary.
difficult.
Mute Gary.
Dude, Gary is awesome. I will never mute Gary.
Yeah, never mute Gary.
Okay.
So the track ends immediately once these guys get to the wall, essentially.
And we
Look at all
weren't
those comments. I haven't
in
even
the
read all that
sim.
stuff yet.
We
Got
ran
anything
the
good?
track way up there, and I wasn't a fan of that. And I'm glad you guys changed it.
Just roasting tires.
Yeah, and it was just like a spot where like you basically just upshift and run away, and then it was over. Even with it where it was, I feel like it still was an issue. Like where the finish line was, a lot of people kind of like made mistakes going into that outer zone. Made a sacrifice to gain proximity going into the final outer zone, and then lost proximity right before the finish line because they took a shallow line through that corner.
All right, let's see. Let's bring up our first pair of guests we have here.
Okay.
And then can we shoot over? We got Shelly and Richard.
Yep. Richard.
Shelly Henson, actually wife
where
of
is
Rudy
Richard?
Henson that we were just watching drive.
Yeah.
It's one of our couple drivers.
Did Richard dip
And that's
out?
really rad. Hey,
Hey.
we see you.
Can you turn your phone sideways for us? It's better for the YouTubes.
Better for the tubes.
Yeah, we're used to Instagram stuff, so we're all vertical stuff now. Oh, there's Rich.
Nice.
Yeah, we'll pull you on a second, Rich,
Yeah.
once we get a little
Is that your shirt or a
introduction
rabbit?
here.
You have
What
a
is-
pet rabbit?
Hold on, you got to unmute yourself.
Oh,
Can
I
we
got to
unmute
unmute you. Sorry.
Andy's got you
I
muted.
had you muted because you came on. There we
I'm
go.
sorry, I didn't realize.
Now you're good.
You're good. You're good. Wait, is that a rabbit or a horse?
Something just beeped over here. I think
It's a rabbit.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say it had to be a really small
Look at
horse.
Rudy trying to sneak into this interview, bro. This ain't about you.
Hey,
This ain't
Rudy.
about you.
Hi. We were just watching your run there, bud.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rudy,
Mm-hmm.
#1 qualifier,
Mm-hmm. Killed
Good
it.
dog.
took second place. That's a whole other
Yeah.
conversation. Are we talking about that one later? Did we get margaritas available?
Yeah. Why not?
Oh,
That'll be a later
Sure.
thing.
Why not? Why
All
not?
right. And
I'll
do
probably be in the hot tub.
so you came back blazing.
Well, first let's introduce her
Let's-
because we haven't had her on the podcast yet.
We have not.
Yes.
All right, Miss Ma'am, introduce yourself. Tell us a quick bit about you and your
Hey,
rabbit.
guys. Oh yeah, so this is Skids.
Nice.
My pet rabbit. He's like 3 years old, so he's probably about as old as. Or no, he's like a little older than I've been drifting. But my name's Shelly Hansen. I'm Rudy Hansen's wife. That's also what I'm known as. Mainly as what I'm known as.
No.
But,
he is he is Shelly's husband. You are your own thing.
Yeah. It is violent. This is my second year competing and my third year drifting.
Awesome. Well, freaking heck. 3rd year, bro. Why are some people just killing it? What took us so long?
I honestly have rode with so many pro drivers and really good drivers, and just riding and then driving and then riding and driving,
Mm-hmm.
and we do get around a lot. So
All right.
I guess,
And you got a good instructor there
Stuff
right
on
next
it.
to you, so
That's got to help.
yeah.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Wall rides from
about to
last
run
year
me
were
that
super
way.
badass.
Mm.
So took a good impact into the wall last year and
Yeah.
rebuilt the car.
Yeah, we're still building. So that car, its name is Honey Butter, and that's basically the car that Rudy and I both learned on. And so it was kind of more his practice car, and I've just been driving it because it's just built really well, and it was just easier to drive than my car. The blue car, actually, Rudy bought that from Joel in Las Vegas. It's like Colors in Las Vegas for me for Valentine's Day, and we've just been kind of slowly getting it dialed in the way that we want. So I've
Valentine's
just been
Day gifts going on there.
You
That's
got a
pretty cool.
drift car for Valentine's Day?
yeah.
That's the most romantic thing I've ever heard.
Right. All right. Let's hear from Richard now, and let's find out what he got his significant other for Valentine's Day.
Yep. Let's talk to Rich real quick, and then we'll go into your battle, and we can talk about it. If you guys have any questions with the judges or whatever, they are here. They can hear you. So
All right, let's-
don't say anything to make them too mad.
Right.
'Cause,
All right,
that's
there's
coming up next
Richard.
time. What's up, Rich?
Richard's on the board.
What's up,
Bro,
guys?
we had you on here, but give a quick rundown and then tell us how mad you are about
Wow,
this story.
he looks so much better than the last time we
Right,
talked to him.
I
The internet
know.
connection is so much better.
Yeah, I saw the replay of the last one,
Yeah.
and I was like, man, that's pretty bad. So I'm sticking to the cell phone this time.
Nice,
Okay.
nice, cool. Yeah, it looks great. Looks good. So how was your first round?
It was good.
Yeah.
I messaged a couple of you separately, but honestly, it was one of the best drift events I've been to.
Awesome.
I at least from my perspective, and from the drifters' perspective, I think everything moved quickly. It was smooth. Sure, there were a couple bumps. I mean, I didn't really experience tons of bumps, honestly. I know there were some controversial calls, which is the point of what this is, but that's with any judge sport, right? It leaves room for interpretation and people's opinions. One thing I experienced is, when we're in the heat of the moment and we're driving and we run into the situation, at least how I viewed the run is very different than how it looks when I watched it later, right? If that makes sense.
Always, yeah.
You think you did a lot better, then you watch it and you're like, oh, okay, well, that kind of makes sense. In the moment, well, I don't know if we're jumping into that right away
Go
first.
ahead, jump into it.
Go ahead.
I'm really curious if you guys felt like a one more time was deserved, and if you guys
So-
talked afterwards.
Yeah, well, Chili and Rudy spent a couple days with me after the event, staying at my house and hanging out. So we're good friends, and we always seem to battle against each other. Me and Rudy and FD, or me and Shelly, we battled the last hot pit too. So yeah, we always end up battling with each other, and I have a lot of respect for both of them. And for Shelly as a driver, right? She went from totaling a car at a bank half the size of this track to rebuilding, coming out, running the wall, pretty much every run I saw, and that takes a lot. I was gonna say it takes some balls, but
I have a feeling you guys like each other
clearly,
too much.
Mm-hmm.
I was
Clearly
really
it
hoping for
doesn't,
some.
Yeah, can you guys get mad at each other
Yeah.
for a second? at
Shelly,
least?
tell us how you really feel.
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah. So I don't know if this is gonna go the way you guys wanted, but
Because I was thinking that she was gonna kick your ass, bro.
Richard's not mad at her.
every
He's
time
mad
I
at
pull
us.
up to the line against her, I sweat a little more and more every time, right? Because you see her driving better and better. And
That's
so,
awesome.
yeah, after that first run, clearly there's car differences, right? I've got a FD prep
And
car.
what
all
did you
those low on
qualify,
horsepower.
Richard?
I qualified last of the top, pretty
Oh,
much.
yeah.
Oh, the 24th position. Or
Yeah, you-
whatever?
25th.
Yeah. Okay.
Or
And
something.
Shelly, you were 6th,
Yeah, 7th. Yeah.
7th.
Yeah.
Damn, bro, that
7th,
girl out qualify you.
Mm-hmm.
So you already were coming at this at a loss.
Mm-hmm.
And your
Yeah,
power
right?
steering was not working, or was?
Yeah, I had issues the whole week, and I had issues.
So that's
I
what
cut
we're blaming it
practice.
on.
Yeah, that's the flavor this time.
I
but
definitely would.
I cut practice an hour and a half early the first day just because we were running into issues, and we didn't bring enough fluid to actually swap it out. So I didn't want to cook it. So anyways, it did well most of the day, but heading into the last round against Margaritas, it was kind of out. I did not have power steering issues. At the time I was battling Chelly. We had fresh fluid in it. Everything was working well. But so, clearly car differences. I'm only making 380 wheel, but, still is an FD prep car. And, I think I have some experience driving the bigger tracks, obviously. But we had a great battle. She had a solid lead. I rewatched the video before this.
Well,
and
let's watch it right now.
Yeah, screw it.
Do you
Let's
have
pull it up.
the first battle set up?
Yeah.
Sweet. All right, here we go.
I
Hope you guys
believe
can see this.
is first battle, yeah.
Shelly Hansen.
Kaylee. Freaking
Hansen? Did
Gary.
you make it? You did. Wow, you're
Gary.
telling me you could
At some point,
possibly
we'll
feel
have
something against this
audio
guy?
without the announcers for this later on.
Okay.
But that'll be a later on deal.
Yeah.
Right now, we're
I was about
stealing
to
from
make
ourselves, technically.
A joke about
that right?
domestic
Fine.
violence, but I'm not going. Let's go. So
Your
she's in a
YouTube's gonna
brand-
get taken down because of our YouTube.
Yeah, that other
Nah.
car was total from the last round of Hot Pit.
Look at her leading first because she out-qualified him.
Richard
Mhm.
Avani, and there's okay, he
Swinging.
almost invited her why it got totaled the first time.
I mean,
Listen, fair, equal rights,
Nice
equal fights.
line.
He is there,
Look at that.
tapping and rapping
Outside
right now.
zone,
He
hitting
hit a
it
cone.
perfect.
She's going. That is some. Wow. There you go, girl.
This is the
Get that
difficult
man to
one. Look at
business.
that.
Do not let him
Perfect.
persevere. This is the. She don't want that bumper. She do not want that bumper, but does he want that win? That's the real question.
Looking good.
Oh, right now, The way it's looking, she
Hey.
is looking fabulous in that
What are you
car.
doing over there, Richard?
I know,
Yeah,
exactly.
What were you
Fucking
doing over there?
beauty. What are you doing over there,
Yeah, I
buddy?
missed the last two zones altogether in the
Yeah.
chase.
All right, this
I
thing is
have that
definitely gonna
effect on
die.
men.
Oh, your computer there?
Yeah.
Okay. So at some point here, you guys might not be able to see us, but we'll still be able to hear you guys and see you guys through the Discord on the computer. It's just Jeff's computer is gonna die. So there is replay there. Looks like your bumper was falling off. Looks like Mr. Rudy fixed it.
Yeah, it doesn't just yank off very easy or what it and pull it off.
Yeah, we had not a few. There was some speculation that you guys were changing rear air pressure. Definitely looked like you guys were just fixing a bumper.
Yeah.
So I don't,
Do
none
that.
of our staff for Hot Pit needed to say anything. Rob and the boys were watching you, but for anyone that's thinking that she was changing air pressure, that wasn't a deal. Or if she was, it was only on the one side next to the one tire.
No, it was just Rudy knifing her tires
Right, yeah.
real quick so that they slowly deflate throughout the lap. Damn. Rich throwing it in.
Right?
Confidence.
I know. I should have been closer there.
He's trying to get away.
Yeah, he's running. This is where Rich and
I was clutch kicking.
this is where they're not friends, is right here in these moments. They're real good friends, but right now
So I
they're
think
going
this
for
is
it.
the final battle. This is not the first battle.
This is the one more time?
Yeah, that's the second one.
Oh, this is the one more time. Okay.
That's just one more time. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
We can go back to the other
As
one.
I think this one was a little bit more cut and dry. While you're looking for that, judges, what did you guys think about that run? Since we just watched it.
In that case, in my eyes, it came down to obviously in the chase, proximity. Richard was a little closer, but a little less sturdy, I guess would be the word.
It's gonna
in the chase, offline a little bit more. Even though Shelly was further back, it was just consistent in her pace. And then hitting outer zone 3, 2, you came through, and then 3, you were quite a bit shallower than she was on her lead. So when you get high level driving,
I agree
you end up starting splitting hairs, right? And that's where judging gets really awkward, because if we're not trying to judge by FD standards, where's the happy medium to make it work for everybody in a sense, right? Because you guys are there to win money.
Yeah, I mean, in my opinion, when looking at if you're looking just lead versus lead, as we're supposed to, she hit all the zones. She was high on the bank. I missed zone 3 and going into 4. And then, of course, in my chase, I made that big mistake. I had good proximity, but a lot of the lap, I wasn't left footing enough, and I was next to her, which I rectified, on the following laps. And then when she was chasing me on that same lead lap, I mean, I think I missed zones and stuff, but she had to cut the line to keep up with me, right? There was a car difference there, and she did a great job doing it. But looking back in the moment, I was like, really? One more time? Like, I was on her stuff. She wasn't on mine. But then I was like, you know what? Great. I guess we got to drive again, right? I wasn't upset in the moment. But then after I looked at it, I was like, okay, that looks like a one more time to me as well, looking at the footage, Yeah, Chelly, what do you think? How did you feel at the one more time?
My first thought was, oh my gosh, I gotta go through my own car at the wall again. that was my first thought. But then, I know, I mean, you were on me like the first run, but I definitely feel like I had like a money lead line on the lead. So, but in my chase, I mean, you just gapped me right off of the on the entrance, on the run up. I need to get better at that.
So did you like
don't
accelerate
have-
even harder once he started getting away from you? How did he end up gapping you so hard?
I think I just well, if you go to the first battle, when I chased him, he actually like came out swinging really, because I tried to be on them like, until we had to be, nose to tail. So I was in third, and then he just kind of like wagged out a lot farther than I thought, and it kind of scared me a little bit. So I think I just jerked my wheel to the right a little bit, and that kind of threw me off to keep up with him on the first one.
the entry line
people what they need.
wasn't easy,
And
was
that's what
it?
they're
No, this is before the one more time. This
That was one more time.
This was the first one.
What did you guys think
And
on
they're
the
going
run
one
up
more
to the
time.
entry?
There we go.
Why you gotta confuse me like that?
I don't know.
You guys sent me down this
Oh, sorry. I sent
train
him
of
down.
trying to find the next
Yeah.
lap, and it's not there.
That's hilarious.
All right, well, I'm finding them one more time now. I was searching the wrong direction.
Yeah, you were almost there.
Yeah.
So, Richard, what was your opinion on the course? Like I say, Shelly had the line pretty dialed. I mean, first day of practice, a lot of people were struggling, right, getting to the zones on 2 and 3. But how do you feel overall with the course? What'd you like, dislike? You feel
I
like
liked
you
it.
had
I mean,
an advantage,
I was lucky.
disadvantage? Obviously, no power steering or having power steering issues in general sucks. So,
I like the flow of it. I mean, it was cool being able to firstly drive on the legendary Irwindale without having to run the big bank, which scares the shit out of me, or more the transition into the bank we ran. But coming off the big bank, I was lucky enough to drive it on sim a little bit, so I was able to run the line pretty good. My first few practice laps out, I had some good practice laps. But yeah, I mean, in fact, on the sim, that coming off the bank, that zone was further out, whereas in real life. It was a lot tighter, I think, which was good because I think there was a separation point going into that zone. It didn't matter what power you had, right? It took skill and it took coming off the bank and, like you said earlier, applying left foot or whatever it may be to hit that zone. Or it took a shitload of commitment, right? Not using e-brake and just sending it off the bank. So overall, I think it was a good layout, and I think it was a good layout for various horsepowers. We were making 380 wheel, not tons of power. We had good gearing, obviously, in the car, but I didn't feel like I was outpowered by some of the battles I did with much higher horsepower cars, even against Margaritas. So I think it was well designed and well thought out.
You're only making 380 in that thing?
What was that?
You're only making 380 in that thing?
Yep, 380.
Faster.
Yeah, it's our
what he
boost
claimed.
motor.
That's what
What's
he's
that?
saying.
No, I know. You know what's funny? Eric actually sent me the dyno video from 3 weeks ago, so I'm gonna upload it on my story the next couple days. Because I've had so many people, they're like, bullshit. I'm like, no, dude, for real. It's pump 85. It's a low compression motor. It's meant for boost. So yeah, 380 wheel, 390 torque was the highest run. But gearing helps. I mean, fourth gear, I'm probably at 110 miles an hour. So, and I was running third the whole track.
Yeah, I was in third, and then I shifted to second off the bank, or like into outer zone 3.
390 torque is kind of what throws everybody off.
Definitely. I mean, and the cars have so much mechanical grip. I think off the line, it was difficult to keep up with me because I didn't have to modulate throttle, right? I had just the perfect amount of grip to just floor it and bang gears and not spin.
On our first battle, Richard, you almost like punted me into the wall. I was so nice watching that. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Well, you initiated, I think, a little late, and I was like behind. I couldn't. I had to be in third basically, and if I went slower into it, I probably would have bogged. So I was like, okay, I've got to initiate whether she's going or not. So yeah, it worked out, but it was fun.
Nice. Well, we got the one more time battle up if y'all are ready.
Yeah. Well, we already watched that chase of mine.
I think people are more interested in hearing the more controversial ones, right? People don't want to see Shelly and I hug it out. And
I know you guys are not being pissed off at all.
I know. I didn't even realize this was a problem.
We're supposed to be mad at each other, Shelly.
Friendships.
Yeah.
Well, we're starting off easy.
This is not the Jerry Springer show we
Yeah.
expected.
We're gonna have to go from you guys to Sam and what's his name? Brandon Wicknick.
We'll have Jeff do the final thoughts.
And then go to Schaefer and Rome.
Yeah. I think Schaefer and Rome. I think Schaefer is up next.
It's just Schaefer because Rome's on a plane, I think, right?
Yeah. Damn.
So, what do you guys think of? Since are we? Oh, we're watching that. I can't see it. Sorry.
Oh, you can click on my stream. Just watch our screen.
This is the first one.
Look, all I know
Yeah.
is either Gonzo farted or Andy farted.
No, Gonzo keeps laying some gnarly ones. Yeah,
I'm
no,
just
I
like,
smelled one
there's
earlier.
a funk going on in here, bro. Damn.
He had some chicken
See,
last
bunnies
night.
don't fart. If you get a
Yeah.
bunny, they don't.
Bunnies don't fart.
I
All right.
guarantee
Information
bunnies
right
have
there.
to fart. All mammals fart. They're just tiny little bunny farts, and they don't stink. They just smell like carrots. It smells like
It
carrot
is hay
cake.
farts.
Yeah.
There's hay.
Yeah.
I feel like Outer Zone 2 to Outer Zone 3 had to be the hardest point to chase.
Yeah.
And
Very
Richard did a really good job through there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he did.
Mm-hmm.
I was throwing chunks of tire on the last zones both times.
Yeah, I think that was a really good lead to tape.
Yeah. Well, they're dropping their tire pressure again.
Yep.
Yep. Look at that.
So what
He's
PSI are
knifing
you
the
guys going
tires.
to right there?
Yeah. Knifing those tires up.
That's hilarious. I mean, I could see people thinking that, but yeah, we wouldn't do. We know better than that.
The secret
We saw Rudy in a suit doing it.
I may be too lenient, but I don't give a shit, man. Let's just drive is my attitude. You know what I mean? I was still gonna give her the smoke, no matter what tire pressure she had.
That's 390
yeah,
torque, baby.
This is the one we already
man.
watched. It's my worst one.
Rich.
Worst.
That deep
Oh, he
line.
hit the wall.
Dude, I'm just stoked that I finally learned how to run a wall without totaling my car.
There you
Because
go.
total the car
Ditto.
a lot of times.
Richard kind of missing that zone a little bit.
Yeah, a little light.
I was like, I just want to make it through top 32 without hitting the wall. That's my goal. Just saying. But yeah, I practiced a lot on the sim before this. I did like 5 tanks a day, so.
So we have the actual layout, I think, finally made. Hopefully RJ will be releasing that soon.
Mm-hmm.
It was just that zone 3 coming off the bank, in my opinion, that was different. Everything else was pretty solid.
Yeah, when they designed it in the sim, you didn't have like the major dip that you're about to come into right about now. That doesn't exist in the game. This got a little bit sharpened up.
Was the bump coming off the bank all abrupt in real life? Because it wasn't too bad
I
in the
didn't
sim.
even see it in real life.
Yeah.
No, in the sim it was pretty bad.
No,
Really
it's by the drainage, that concrete patch
Yeah.
you see in the background. If it was extended further out, that's like a full-on jump,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
which would have been sick.
Yeah,
but-
we should have just incorporated the jump. That would have been sweet.
But I just wanted to recap on mine. I know we're gonna get to the exciting, controversial stuff. I mean, Chili are boring, but great event, guys. I had a freaking amazing time. I'm stoked that there's this level of event down here, and maybe sort of sim freaking HotPit too.
Yeah, that's in the discussions.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Before you leave, Richard, what did you think about the CC, our model? Were you guys able to figure out who won when she pointed the umbrella?
It was a little confusing, I think, because there was a lot of pointing before, like her, him, and then it
Dude,
was like,
you need to give her a squirt gun, and she should just squirt the car that wins.
Uh-huh.
there needs to be a different step.
There's gonna be a lot of jokes about that, though.
Yeah, right.
Be
Yeah,
careful.
she's a squirter.
Oh God, you went there real quick.
All I saw was an
How about
umbrella. I didn't even see a model, guys. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yep, just an umbrella. Well, because I think you guys had the first one more time. How many one more times did we have? 2? Riley, how many did we have?
We didn't have a
I
whole
think
lot.
we had 2.
So I think your guys' was the first one more time, and so we were
Yeah.
like, "Damn,
I was
what is
surprised.
she
I
gonna
didn't
do?" And then she just went up with it straight in the air. I'm like, "All right, that
Oh,
worked."
Cool.
Yeah, I hope you guys got that.
Yeah.
So I don't know. That was just something we were just trying. Just to,
Yeah,
you know,
she
make
came
it
and
look-
told us. She came up to me, or came up to you and Rich, I think, and told you.
Nice. Well, that's
Why don't
right.
you give her like one of those big foam hands or something? Make her look silly.
Ah, a foam hand, finger.
Big old Mickey
The
Mouse
NRG
hands.
one. Get her one of those NRG ones.
She's pretty tiny. I don't know if like
There's my lab.
Someone
Might be the
take
same
notes. Big foam hand. Well, all right.
I
Thank
think
you
she-
guys.
I think she should get on the hood and do the splits.
Yeah. Thank you. I think we're gonna pull in Mr. Schaefer next. I think, unless.
Well, before
you, guys.
before that, do you guys have any questions for these judges before we?
Gonzo laid another mean one.
I think this is.
Whew.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. Any questions for the judges at all, or you guys stuff to complain about? You know.
No, I'm like really not. I feel great about it
You
all.
picked some terrible guests. They're not mad at us at all.
I just
Thank
need
you
to know
guys.
there was a problem.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
Same here.
Bye,
I
guys.
think they did
Thank
a
you
good
so
job.
much.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome problem to have.
Oh, we
I'm
have
coming
Miss...
for you, Richard.
All right.
Coming for you.
Driving again.
Later.
Later.
Bye,
All right,
guys.
we have Mr. John Schaefer here.
Mr. John Schaefer. We're going to be on
Hello.
this one for a while. Oh, he's in his office.
Yeah.
Nice.
Can you,
in the office.
Can you turn the phone sideways for YouTube purposes?
Yeah, where's the rest of
Yeah,
your
we're not
body?
doing IG today, bro.
Nice shirt.
None of that vertical video. That is a pretty sweet shirt.
When are you going to get a suit made like that, though? It's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
I was talking to well, I want to go to K1, but there's also the guy that made Yavi's suit, OMP.
Mm.
Maybe talk to him and get something made up.
Because that's definitely going to have to be a printed suit. They're not embroidering that. That'll be the heaviest
Yes.
suit ever.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, right?
Yeah.
It'll be like 400 pounds.
My suits
of
are already
stitching.
heavy because of the amount of embroidery I have.
Yeah.
That would be rad.
Cool.
All right, so we don't
As long
have
as
your
it's not-
competitor.
Yeah, we don't have Rome because he's on
Yeah.
a plane. So we're going to talk about your battle. Apparently, you were a little perturbed about it.
Just
A turd?
just a little bit.
Little bit.
Little bit.
So, Jeff, have you seen his 360 cam footage that he had?
I have, yep,
Okay,
yep, yep.
so you've seen all that. Chris and Riley, have you seen that?
I have.
Okay, so we've all seen the same footage that we have here. So we
Mhm.
have.
So let's bring up the run.
Yeah,
let's play
let's
the run.
watch the run first from all the angles that we had, and then we're gonna go over the footage.
And
that-
before anything is discussed, we'll let some people comment
yeah.
down below.
Yeah.
So as you guys watch this run, go ahead and pause it before we start talking and let
Hey,
us
but
know what
go
you
back
think
to the-
happened.
Go back to the first run of how it even got to the one more time.
Oh, okay. So
Which this is actually it, I think.
this is it.
This is the first battle?
No, it goes to the drone. Yeah.
This is it.
Yes.
battle?
This is the
Okay.
first battle, I
Okay.
believe.
Okay.
Yeah, I missed that zone right there.
Mm-hmm. And Rome has some bobbles in the back, but he's sort of staying there.
He didn't even enter until the bank. He passed the 3-2-1 cones.
He did.
Yes.
Mm.
Which I know I'm smoking him out, so it's kind of hard to see that.
Yeah. You may have confused the man by smoking him out like that. I feel like that was a little rude, you know.
Well, there's
No.
definitely things immediately to that comment, right?
Yeah.
If this were FD, focus on where Rome's at. There is a 3-2-1. Is he initiated?
Ooh,
No,
that's
he's probably
pretty
riding
late,
the bobble.
dude. That
So
was
like
late.
literally in FD, that could
Yeah.
potentially be a full on
That's a
zero,
zero.
and the rest of the run is invalid.
Mm-hmm.
And so, Schaefer, would you want to win that
Mm.
way?
I mean, I could kick the car. He supposedly makes 550 horsepower. I make 580 horsepower.
Sure.
Why can you not kick your car sideways
Valid
and
point.
get it to drift?
Mm-hmm.
But would you protest and say that he should have had a zero?
Yeah. I'm like, why can't you enter? The car can break loose at any point. Why are you driving straight to gain proximity?
Mm-hmm.
Which I know is the thing. You guys all want proximity, but there's also style, line, and angle, and all that stuff, and there's none of that there.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
That was on
You know,
the
when
bubble.
I drive in just to keep on someone's door and
Yeah.
T-bone them,
Yeah.
you know, just about.
Mm-hmm.
That's not cool. I'd rather be on my own line and chase them down than
Mm-hmm.
drive right past the cones.
Yep. All right.
If
So
that was New Jersey, the little oval stadium or whatever. I
Yeah.
mean, he'd go understeering straight into nothing.
Mm-hmm. No, yeah, I won the battle in Orlando because of the chase car doing a late initiation. So let's go over the second battle, and then we can kind of get an idea of this, or the second run from the first battle, and then we can get more of an
Mhm.
idea of how it goes, because that is a major mistake by Rome. I do agree with that 100%. If
And there's no style, there's no angle there. He's just
there it is. Okay. So this is
Second run
Yep.
of the first battle.
yep, yep.
Yep. And you look here, he's on throttle. He makes smoke through his entire zone. He is making smoke.
Mm-hmm.
Keep that for next time.
Yep. I duly
I
noted.
missed that zone. I get it.
Yeah.
more angle in the chase, following.
Mm-hmm.
He also put his arm out the door.
Who?
Rome.
Oh, didn't he?
Yeah, at the very end.
Did he?
Yeah.
Oh, illegal.
Would you
illegal
protest for that? Should be a
illegal.
zero?
So illegal.
He couldn't enter like that following me. He was driving a straight line anyways.
Yeah.
You could kick the
I
car
mean, I
sideways.
do agree. Your initiation behind him was substantially better than his, and his was, on the borderline 0 as far as late initiation goes. Rest of the run wise, I would say you had pretty good proximity. But again, I'm not a judge. Let's hold on. Let's pause this and let's pull in some judge talk.
From my perspective,
judge talk. Tonight at 9.
Here in the battle, I didn't see Rome initiate late, but obviously seeing this, you can definitely tell there was a late initiation. I think judging the battle lead to lead, you both had, really good leads. I think, John, you had the better of the leads. And out of the chases, you both had very similar corrections as well. And I think that's why I went with the one more time. Like Rome had a couple of bobbles in the chase on the bank, and then you had your correction into outer zone 3, cutting the line a little bit. But aside from that, I couldn't really make a decision. Now, like Jeff said about the late initiation, would that be a 0 in this type of competition? Yeah, he should have done something like how you said. He should have thrown in more style. He should have thrown it in earlier, whatever. Just get the car sideways at the same time as you. But basing it off of what Jeff's saying, this is an FD and stuff like that. I wouldn't want to give you a win just based off of, him not initiating right behind you.
But that's what's getting thrown me off. This is an FD driver, and if if Odie came here, and going back to this second run that we're going to watch, if I was to lift on throttle here, where we know that in a zone you're supposed to be on throttle, Odie what do you do in that situation? These guys know what they're doing, so why we need to figure out. There's lots of gray area.
So yeah, no. This is where I was going to go with this. And we had our conversation, after the event. We talked, me, you, and Bradley. And, it is still a competition. And so we do need to figure out a fine line. Well, I know Jeff says that, this is an FD and it's supposed to be more of a fun aspect, a show aspect.
But it's for $5,000 for first place. It's a competition.
Yeah, so it's still for money. There's still some seriousness going on. I know everybody says they're friends and whatnot, but situations like this, you definitely get to see the other side of competitive drifting, and this is still a competition. So, I totally agree with you in certain aspects of certain things, while I still agree with Jeff and what he's trying to do and believe in what he's trying to do with this series.
What you got on it, Riley?
So I thought the first runs there, it was kind of a tit for tat thing. That's why I was a one more time. Again, looking at the replay now, the live stream's delayed, so we're not seeing all that. We're doing judging stuff, so it's hard. Maybe it's a time thing. So hey, we can go back and watch the replay and kind of reanalyze it during the event at the same time. Maybe that's something we need to improve on, and we need to clarify on, if we want proximity, that's totally fine, but we still got to hold. What's the standard, right? We don't want to be FD, but where's the standard? Where do we draw the line competition-wise to a 0?
Mm-hmm.
And if the drivers all agree with that, again, you're there to win, right? Everybody's there to win. So we want to have set standards that make sense while still not being FD, because we want. I felt like your guys' runs, they were both, again, tit for tat. Deeper in zone 3, shallower in zone 3, chase. So I'd rather go one more time. Now, again, if we would have caught that late initiation on his part, I could totally see your point, and I agree to it.
Would you have changed your opinion had you rewatched it and saw the late initiation?
I feel like John just going wild off the start just distracted
think-
us. I feel like it's your fault, John.
I mean, it was sick.
No.
The entry was sick. Like, it was sick from point A to point B, right? And so some drivers could argue, like, oh, he's just blowing tires off the line. How am I supposed to follow that? Because he's swinging.
You
all
light
over.
it up.
Well,
Well,
I get that, right?
That could be
But then other
argued
people,
as 3-point initiation, which I think during the judges meeting is something that I said that we didn't want to see, but you know, you
Like I
made
say-
it you made it look cool and you made it look stylish. You
it
know,
was fast. It was fluid.
Yeah.
It was exciting to watch. I could see my judging on that changing, having more facts and being more clearly stated. Like, hey, this is going to be a 0. We can give room on bobbles and whatnot, but if we need to have hard zeros from a driver perspective, then let's figure that out with the drivers and with everybody.
Yeah, I don't think we need like hard zeros. I just think it needs to be a major deduction because FD's very hard zero mentality, and I feel like it should just be like an 80-point deduction is basically a 0. You know what I mean? So like, give him something to play with, but don't give him the hard 0. Because I felt like we did that in qualifying as well because we wanted everybody to battle. So we even gave people a 0 plus their score basically because of that.
So all of that goes back to. And this is why I like that John's heated, right? Because he's going to be passionate about his part of the story. But what
There's
this
money
really
on the
goes,
line, man.
oh, there
Shit,
is, there
that's
definitely is. But what
bills
this
to
goes
pay
back
and
to, the
$5
reason we want it to be more lenient, and for you guys that are going to be hardcore hot pit fans, really appreciate you guys. But watch the path that we go down, because if you watch the path that Formula D went down, it's the same thing. They went from like being very lenient, not sure what was going on. Then they went to the years where they literally painted a box. And you could watch, if you tapped a cone and it fell over, it was a strike.
Yeah,
and if you put a tire on the line,
Yeah.
it was another strike. And if you got 2 strikes in a run, you got a 0 no matter what you did.
When Forsberg blew over the cone with his exhaust and
Yeah,
got a 0.
strike,
that
bro,
was-
0 and you're out.
Yeah.
So imagine you just traveled the country, spent 10 grand, you got 4 dudes in a hotel, all of this happens, and before you even started your run, you initiated a foot late, and you got a hard 0. So the 99.1% that you just did, right? 99.1? 99.9? That you just did was invalid and didn't even exist because you initiated a foot late.
But I feel like initiating on time is a pretty critical part of it.
In the chase, in the lead, it would definitely throw the chase off.
Yeah.
In the chase, didn't throw off your lead at all.
No, it doesn't. But I feel like initiating on time and also finishing the course to the finish line are also equally important. If someone straightens up 10 feet before the finish line, it's sort of the same thing, in my opinion. Like, you would almost zero that out just because they straightened up before the finish line type thing. And it has to be taken into the same account that, like, once you're on that judged course, you need to be drifting. You're being judged, and if you're going straight at any point in that judged course that you should be drifting on, it's going to be hell to pay, essentially.
So what this really does to us is how long we've already been talking about it.
Mhm.
Right? We've already been talking about it 5 minutes.
Yeah.
We can go back and review the piss out of it. But then now we've sat there and reviewed 5 feet for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
To see, right? So let's go back real quick and see.
That's why there's big delays
what this
in
looks
Formula
like.
Drift judging every once in a while.
So go ahead and let's see if we can analyze it from our point of view, because what we have there day of
let's watch
is we've got our naked eyes, which is a little bit better than this because the cameras are switching and we are at the mercy of whatever you guys see on the live stream. FD is
slow it
different.
down.
They've actually got multiple views and they can see any camera from any view. As judges, we have our first impression, and that's pretty much what I think most of us are going off of. Then we've got a quick little replay, and it's going to be the same exact thing that you guys are seeing right here. And we'll watch that and go off of that. So had it seemed like it was something worthwhile and we really stared it down, would we have changed our decision?
Kick it out.
It almost looks like he tried to right there, but it didn't. Did you see that like little movement from his car?
Well, let's see when his break.
No, I mean, you're going down the hill and you got to come back up the hill.
Yeah.
Right? I'm assuming he's going to initiate right around here.
That's the 3 cone.
The 3 cone, the point of drifting was the wall.
Was the wall? Okay.
Yeah, it wasn't the 3 cone was supposed to be the wall. So
I mean, he's drifting.
in the driver's meeting, we told everyone it was the wall. Is the last point of initiation.
Very shallow, but
So
he is sideways.
He is sideways. How do you determine if he's before or after from this point of view?
Best guess.
So, and mind
That's
you,
all
that
you can
wall, me and Andy built that wall, that red-white plastic barrier.
That wall's
We
dangerous.
almost sent everyone, and then I looked back while Andy was trying to line up the cones, and I was like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
This is NASCAR. They only go left. No one ever goes right, and there's a freaking death trap.
Yeah. It was
So
just
the
deadhead
wall is
concrete.
actually that that little not barrier. What do you call it thing? The fence line going up. Right. That's the last point of initiation. So judges, what do you guys see from this perspective? And let's see if there's another perspective also.
In the this is the replay. So.
It looks like
this is like the only.
Yeah, he's in drift, right? But again, we can always analyze replays. Like I say, we're as good as we can be with our Mark 1 eyeball, right? Like it's version 1 eyeball in a lot of what we're doing because it's not FD. So there's valid arguments to what John's saying. I agree. But this is slowed down from a different angle. We're up high, 100 yards up looking down. John throws a sick entry. So maybe we were lost in the sauce on John's entry and didn't even catch.
I had actually, as a style judge, didn't I give John the only full points of the day for his entry, I think?
I had the highest style and angle, whatever that was. So.
Yeah. I was actually, and I don't even remember how we judged this. I actually think that Riley and Chris went one more time, and I think I might have chose you, John, for the win on this battle.
Yeah, you had good angle through that fucking lap, dude.
But I was definitely impressed with.
I'm full lock all the time.
That wise crap.
Rome's line, though, with this car that's definitely not ready for this track was pretty impressive. Right? I feel like he's definitely putting down some good effort with not enough horsepower for this.
I think black wheels are dumb, too.
Yeah,
yes.
black wheels suck.
Are we on the one more time now, or is it still the first battle?
First battle.
Is still first battle, yeah.
Still first.
Yeah.
Let's go to the one more time. Let's spice it
Yep.
up.
Spice it up, bro.
Yep.
Okay, so I think we determined that your opinion about the first run being a 0 is invalid. But look how much time that takes to do that, right?
John's about to start his car and rev that shit.
He
so-
might.
Oh, bro.
So I mean, again, this is just for people listening's sake, this is what FD has to go through. FD has to sit there and go through 5 replays to make sure, and this is where, just my opinion, there's still 99.9% of a run left.
Yep.
And it didn't affect the lead.
Yep.
So
Yep.
run it.
You're drinking there, John.
Non-alcoholic Samuel Adams.
Attaboy.
That's what Jeff needs tonight.
All right, here we go. John's in the lead because he's got a badass qualifying run.
He's gonna do his
Rome's gonna be in the
crazy
chase
initiation again.
with a car, mind you, running the wrong freaking banner, so someone needs to get fired for
Look at
that.
this wild
Wasn't
man.
even teched.
He's got a
It
giant
was
floppy
tacked.
dong attached to his S14. Look at that.
Car was tacked. Also, that was a later initiation.
Yes, even later.
Really?
Yeah, go back to that one. All right, but it's not late to a 0, but it's sloppy.
Yeah,
right?
and he's
It's like,
so inside.
yeah,
So inside.
This is where
Where?
wanting proximity gets
D-cell
very
zone.
convoluted.
Throttle.
offline.
Offline.
Yep.
Online.
That angle, though, boy.
There. Yeah.
Right.
Wow.
Wow.
You may not be online, John, but you always have plenty of angle, my boy.
Yeah.
Hey,
all
that
the
was
English.
online. That was right there online.
Yeah, the last 2 zones they were pretty online
Yeah.
with getting.
I think the entire run was online.
Not that it mattered, but why didn't you exit to the wall?
You told me not to. You told us not to run the wall, so I didn't bang 4th gear. So
I was just curious if it was like a track wasn't worthwhile, or I mean, yeah, I don't think any of us were judging it at that point. Like literally, as judges, you couldn't even see once you got.
I
to
wanted
the
to
wall.
bang 4th all day long, but you told me not to, so I had to keep her in 3rd, and I'm not going to sit there on the limiter and keep singing her. So
Oh,
So
you-
on that, on initiation right there on outer zone 2 or coming into 2, Can you back it up a little bit?
Mm-hmm.
We can go slow-mo.
Just slow-mo it through that zone.
Mm-hmm. We can do all this. We have the technology.
We have the science.
Yes.
Thank you, YouTube.
We can
Put
rebuild
liquid
him.
paper on a bee, and it died.
Man, that is late, dude. Why was Rome stretching it so hard?
I don't think his car is like full healthy.
It didn't seem like
didn't
he had a
seem
ton
like-
of power.
I think it looked like 350 at best.
Eh.
I'm sure that's a topic that's going to come up in this same conversation too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Look at that handbraking behind you, though. He's keeping with you.
With no angle.
Definitely no angle.
Mm-hmm.
He never has angle.
Schaefer's looking pretty good there. Other than like
decel.
So here you decel, you come into outer zone 2, and you're outside the zone. Look at that back
Two
wheel.
tires off.
Yeah, it's a tire.
Maybe. No.
Well, I just
maybe
again,
one. Maybe
now
one on the line.
Now you start. Yeah, I mean,
Now
one
you're
tire
driving
off,
in.
You start.
Crest off the zone.
So you were deep in there, and then on the exit, you're like coming out early.
Yeah. There's a lot of room there to stick it in deeper. No pun intended.
Yeah.
Can you go bring it back one more time? I want to see where his back bumper is to that other cone. So I think he's one tire on the line, right? I don't think he's two off. I think he's one tire right on the line.
It was just before that.
Yeah.
I would much rather see a lead driver be one tire outside the line versus being super shallow and cutting the line.
Mm-hmm. Same.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not saying that it's a technicality. It's just, again, when you start splitting the gray area, it's like,
And
okay,
this is all
well,
we got
to call
is
out
one
this, we got to call out that.
Yep. Off throttle,
and then
on throttle.
See right there.
Bump.
So outside and then kind of comes back in line.
Definitely.
And then that's what causes it to come up a little short.
It's not a
exiting the zone.
significant major mistake, though. I would consider Rome cutting the
No, and
initiation being.
I don't think it factored in
Getting
on
to the point of the
judging
next battle.
case.
Oh, okay.
That's why he's you know, really going through.
I thought
this.
you guys were just nitpicking John, just picking on.
No,
him for
we
reason.
gotta go tit for tat. For
Gotta
this one and the
protect
next
my
one.
boy over
Yeah,
here. Yeah. It's my baby boy.
You're my boy, Blue.
That zone looked good from that angle. And so did the
And then
left.
This section looks really good. Like angle to like big angle switchbacks, like filling the zones. This section I'm really.
Let's go to the next one because this is
Okay.
where it's really getting.
Okay. Let me
heated.
take off the slow mo.
I see.
Big angle, no angle right there.
All right, let this next one play in its entirety and just send it.
This is where it gets interesting. Just a little interesting.
Just a little.
Here we go.
No smoke.
Bitch, get out the way. Get out the way, bitch. Get out the way. Move, bitch.
All right, give it some volume. Let the replay play.
Volume.
Let's see what the replay played.
Volume here.
Yeah.
So we'll let this play out and we'll go right into the replay. So why was your rear tire so far ahead?
Hold on.
Okay, never mind.
Hold on. Does YouTube have a replay? Does HotPit have a replay?
HotPit. Well, I mean, it's got the replay coming up.
We have
right
our
now.
own replay, right?
Yeah,
Is it the same exact?
I think it's the same angle though. It might be drone. I'm not.
It'll be the same.
Do you have my 360 cam?
I tried to pull it up on Facebook, but I'm not logged into my Facebook on this computer, and I don't remember my password, so I couldn't.
Do they stay at this? Oh, I wish they would stay
I
at the other
can,
angle.
if you send it to me, I can post it. I mean, everyone's seen it, so we can play it. Be nice if we could play it and discuss it, though. Do you have it on?
I can send it to Jeff.
Yeah, just send it to
What
Jeff
does that do me?
real quick. Well, I'm trying to think of how we could. Oh, just share your screen and play it on your phone. How about that?
How do I do that?
I'll show you.
All right. Well, while he's trying to do that,
Yeah.
audience, what's your thoughts right now before we continue this conversation?
Write
Write in your comments. Who do you think won? Who do you think should have gotten it? What do you think happened just now?
Like, subscribe, share.
Do all those things. Okay. All right. How are we doing this? He's gonna share his screen.
Yeah, that'll.
Mhm.
I'll show you. I'll show him how, because that is like the critical angle. Because I literally watched this battle from up on the roof. I wasn't in the booth at the time, so I had a pretty good upper view of it, and it didn't look like Rome decelled at all. It didn't look like he pulled e-brake or anything. But then after watching John's video, there's a little bit more evidence there.
Click the back arrow. Don't click out.
I don't know how to.
Click the back arrow on the top.
Oh, you're trying to help him here.
It won't go. It just
Watch.
keeps going to.
Oh, there
go
you
to
go.
Gallery. Go to photos.
Yep,
there you
yep,
go.
yep. There you go. Turn it sideways if you could. I don't know if that's gonna
We
work.
find it.
Okay.
We're right here.
Oh, this is totally gonna work.
Wow. Okay. Oh, sweet.
This is working. I need to turn you guys down though. That was loud.
So that was the lead run, and if you look at my lead run, I'll show you my zone.
You gonna show us your zone?
Oh, show us the zone. Yeah, he's got a
Yeah.
tire
So
off. One tire.
come off the bank. Zone.
Oh.
Cone.
Oh, damn. That's like 2
cone.
tires off. And then you're flying in.
Yeah, on throttle. I'm still.
So
in
why
the
did
zone
you
right
fly
there.
in and miss the last half of the zone?
I'm still in the line.
Oh, you're definitely missing the last half of the zone. From right here, you rotate and get more angle, and then you start throttling inward.
Okay, well, that's all opinion based.
Yeah, yeah. Isn't this sport though?
No, I mean filling the zone perfectly, in my opinion, would be tire on that outside line the entire time. You were in the zone the entire time, but you weren't perfectly in the zone the entire time. In my opinion, it was like overshooting it a little bit at the beginning and then undershooting it about midway through, and then getting kind of back on line towards the end.
Let's focus
But
here. Let's focus
Here is
on
the.
Rome.
So back up a little bit, John.
Yes, I will come to on the bank. I'm on the brakes, and if you look right here, I'm on the brakes. I'm actually off. I get on.
Brakes.
He gets the
So
e-brake,
He drops, then there's a foot brake and an e-brake.
and so I'm still on his line. I am deep with him, following him.
Mm-hmm.
He hits the e-brake and the brake, and I get off the brake pedal to drive forward, because at this point I feel like, he's parking it. You look at that wheel.
Mm-hmm.
That wheel is not moving. There is no more.
So you're focusing on his back tire. You don't look at his fronts.
Well, I see the angle. He's angling up too. So I'm like, I got to get the heck out of here. So I drive off the line at this point.
So I know there was speculation that his car died, and on some of the other videos we looked at, his car was still going. So I thought
He lifted throttle to the point where there was no more. He was on limiter, and then he lifted throttle until I hit him, and then he got back on throttle.
So during the judging session,
Chris, you're super quiet.
Oh.
During the judging session, there was a couple of things, right? We heard that he had gotten 4 tires off the track, and then that he stalled on you and whatnot. But from our perspective up on the tower, we can't see any of that. We've got more of a 100-yard view, I would say, from that. After watching this video, I definitely can see where your frustration is, because I definitely think that he either handbrake or just stalled out or whatnot in that zone.
I hear car banging limiter. I'm like, okay, we're going, and then out of nowhere you hear nothing. It makes it.
How do you hear anything over your car though? Your car is so much louder than his car.
Yeah, you have the loudest car almost next to Rudy and.
Mm-hmm.
Alex Mustang is pretty damn loud.
So here's the other thing though that I noticed when we were judging the battle is that Rome was filling the zone to the very end, but I also saw you cutting the line, but that's probably because you had to make that adjustment from him handbraking, choking you up. Now that I've seen this, roof cam footage or whatnot, and so that threw you off your line. We don't have those views from up top, and the replays don't have those views.
I think John's experiencing what it's usually the roles are reversed, right? The driver says, I had the sickest run of my life, and then you watch it from a bird's eye view, and they're not hitting any of the zones. They're offline. It looks sick. They felt like it was sick, right? And then they watch the video and they're like, oh, I was nowhere near it, right? And now it's kind of the opposite in John's case because we don't have, bird's eye view. We see Rome. He still has forward movement coming in through that zone. He's fully in the zone. And we see you, what looks to us as being offline, right? We can see him decelling, but because his forward movement, it didn't look like a big park from way back where we're looking from.
It looked like angle.
It looked like he was angling up, and then
And
after
he still would have pulled the e-brake and parked it right there and choked me up, and I would have had to, either way. But there was no throttle.
So on the e-braking and parking it,
in a zone.
Which
I know it wasn't clarified in the driver's meeting with no decel zones, but if that was Odie following him and Rome lifts on throttle in a zone where you should be on throttle, what do you do in that situation? I'm going to drive away from him and not put my wheel into his door.
Yeah. Well, again, the perspective we saw from the top, or I should say that I saw from the top, is one, we can't hear the cars other than we hear your car briefly, 99% of the time. We can't hear his car. So if his car has a mechanical or something, we can't obviously hear that just because of where we're at, proximity-wise. After we had the onboard footage, I think it's obviously evident, right? Whether it was a mechanical, his car was on, engine protection mode, whatever the deal is. It's definitely the perspective down there. I think your argument's totally valid, and I can see why you're frustrated in it.
I mean, I don't crash into people. That's not my goal. And so for that to happen, that really grinded my gears. That thing's all brand new. And then you hear a guy, in my way. I'm not just going to crash into it to make it apparent that,
well, the flip side to that is, right, as a chase driver, you're supposed to follow that lead car. And I know you're giving him the beans because he is an FD driver and you're John Schaefer. And it's like, third gear, let her eat, fourth gear, let her eat, whatever the deal is. I think if you were a little further back, it probably would have been more obvious that he choked up and you were dodging a bullet. But because from our top-down view, it just looks like, and I wish we had a camera from our judging perspective just to kind of show people what we're looking at. Yeah, hopefully next round we can do that. Because, again, it's down to the Mark 1 eyeball that we have and what we're seeing as it plays out.
Can we bring back the YouTube video? And I'll describe a little bit of my... same thing I told John. We talked about it via text. I was trying to find some more footage just to do our part and see what it was. And boy, John was heated during the moment. He came up. He's ready to protest. He's ready to sell his house.
He tried to punch me.
Yeah. He was ready to protest. And we agreed there just wouldn't be any protest, for this and just get through it. But again, to Riley's point.
You're right there. I'm going to take a pee real quick.
Now you got to pee.
Yeah.
You could have peed before we started the show.
I tried such little.
I tried to poo.
I dribbled so. Yeah, you did. I forgot.
This guy doesn't have a light in his
respect.
room. So look at this. What happened here? All we really know is the chase driver is way inside of the lead. I mean, is it possible that in Rome's perceptive that he saw you trying to chase and maybe he hit the handbrake so he wouldn't hit you? Maybe he was concerned about you. Regardless, I think the argument is just you put yourself in a tough spot. Had you been following online, how do I back this up? Can I just hit this button?
I'd be working on my car way more than I am right now.
Yes, you would, but that is drifting. That's Formula D. That's what you're asking us how to judge this.
I believe in you.
That's I mean, you put your cars up against walls. You try to tandem with some dudes. And arguably, the impact wouldn't have been that bad because if you were door to door and he stalled up, the impact would have been very minor. Your impact was probably worse because you tried to throttle out past him, and so you had a larger impact. So if you were right there with him on that line, so now you're already facing forward and then jamming in front of him, whereas he's just trying to run the line, but he's slower.
He's already off throttle.
Agreed. But you are not chasing your moving clipping point. So had you followed him and he parked it in front of you and you guys would have bumped, yes, agreed. there would be some damage. But as you said, you're here for $5,000. You're here to win the money. You're not worried about the damage. You want to win. So you put yourself in just the bad spot to where even if he did make this mistake, I think even in FD rules, you put yourself on the losing end of the argument, I guess is the best way to say it. Because had you been chasing him and you guys hit wheel to wheel, door to door, your argument would be way more valid, right? And so we would have to go back and forth with this and get all the replays, all the angles, telemetry like Kevin Wells. And even in FD, they go back and look at calls after
it makes me
like
think
weeks later and look at calls.
It makes me think a lot about how much car position plays into the decision, you know? Because, like if the lead driver does check up, but if you're in a weird position like that at the time and you end up hitting him like this with your rear wheel to front wheel, doesn't look really good on your part.
Well, there were several battles where the dudes were, when you get into outer 3, where dudes were like literally wheel to wheel tapping each other, and we blamed that. And it went back and forth actually, depending on who it was. But there were some times where we blamed it on the lead because he just wasn't on throttle soon enough, and the chase guy was tapping him. Like, come on, bro, tap, move it on, and he wasn't moving. There was the other time with Brandon Whitnick, and who was the other dude? Trying to think. Judges.
Dustin.
Who was the other guy?
Sam.
Was it Sam or Dustin?
It was Dustin.
Dustin was like tapping. I'm like, bro, move your whip. I'm ready to go. And you're not moving. And so that's where that same call went the other direction. And it could have been the same exact scenario, but car placement, right? So it kind of, you get back into that argument of like, well, dude, I want my car to be clean. I don't want to fix it. Therefore, I try to drive out of it. I don't know. I mean, at one point you want us to judge it like, hey, there's a line, it's a 0, and then the 2 turns later you want us to judge it like, hey, well, he didn't want to hurt his car, so now I have to judge it differently, right? Like, which way are we going to judge this? So I was stuck in a box with your car was too far forward, and without all the telemetry. That's the box I was in, and then the same thing as Riley and Chris said. Looking down on it, all we really saw was it looked like you were going to pass him unnecessarily.
Same. Like from the roof, that's what it looked like. I just thought you were just like on a way offline, and it just looked like you went for the pass and you just beelined into him. And that was my perspective from the roof.
Yep. And I would say if I were to read the audience of the room, I felt like everyone in the room thought Schaefer was going to win.
Yeah.
Because as soon as that happened, everyone was like, you fucking blew it.
Yeah.
You know, that was like the, right? Am I wrong in saying that? You know, that's kind of the read of the room. You know, we had the better car, he had the better line, he had the harder drive.
Yeah.
And then, boop, got over aggressive.
Yep. And that's what it looked like I said, from up on the roof. And then I see the second footage. I'm like,
what was the commentary?
On the YouTube?
Yeah. Let's play the commentary real quick. Let's hear what Gary and Chris say.
Oh, that commentary. I thought you meant
said you wish you could see what?
Oh, you thought you meant the comments of like the people watching, but not Gary.
Let's hear what Gary and Chris say, because I think they even have their own little.
Okay.
I mean, they're not judges, right? They're just some dudes watching.
Yep.
What did they think happened?
Well, let's listen in.
2, 1. Let's go. Rome Charpentier in the E36, the Sherbert Surprise versus John Schaefer in the Hawaiian shirt car. Now Rome Charpentier finding a little grit. Now he's showing John Schaefer like, hey, that was just a fluke. I'm going to show you what a real pro can do. And given that first zone, good touch. But John Schaefer also, where? Whoa. Too aggressive. John.
I mean, that's the read of the room. These aren't pro judges. I mean, what the hell's a pro judge anyways, right? But you got dudes who have been drifting since 2003.
You're a judge. You are a pro judge.
I guess so.
Yeah.
I'm just, I hear John's point. I'm looking at the handbrake.
Yeah.
But, it's the freaking math, bro. We can draw a line and say, hey, you got a 0 before you start it.
Unfortunate. That's kind of the way that this stupid
So the
sport
downside
works.
of not being FD and the beauty of not being FD, right? When it comes to judging, we have flexibility, but perception is reality, right? So whatever we perceive in that moment is a lot of times how we're going to base our runs, right? Because we don't have replays. We can always do these after the fact. I shouldn't say we don't have replays, but they're delayed. So if that's something we need to integrate in and look at those before we move on to any further battles, then we need to account for it. And if that's what drivers want, then by all means. It doesn't mean it's still going to be the right call every time. But, further down the rabbit hole we go of splitting hairs.
Yeah.
So we need to find that balance of, it is a competition from a driver's perspective. It's a show for the audience and for everybody else. And my whole thing is I want to see sick tandem.
Mm-hmm.
Literally. So if someone has a bobble, cool. If we want to dock somebody for 3-2-1 cones, then let's get the drivers to all unanimously vote on it, and let's figure it out. The drivers and their feedback is what drives the series. So,
well, there's going to be some Discord discussions about all this stuff.
Yeah. So I mean, we have a private Discord. You guys are in there. Please talk amongst yourselves.
D-cell zone.
John, how long did it take you to pull up that footage from the roof?
Like on my phone right now?
No,
or
like
off the camera.
How long off the camera did it take you? Was that
well, my guy we went to dinner that night, and so he had it the next day. I'm sure we could do it, quicker than that, but I don't know about, 5 minutes or something, unless we were to run in and pull tapes real quick. Or I could probably do it off my phone, but he does all my media for me, so I'd have to talk to him about that. About how fast I can get it.
And I think, again, it's a discussion when it comes to protests or whatnot. I think there's valid
needs to be time.
Protest, and there is not a valid protest. And it's all on coming correct, right? There's been times where we've had people come in and protest, and the decision remains the same because the footage they show us is from ground level somewhere else. And it's not even relevant to what the reason for the decision was.
I have a video that John sent me literally right at the time. And, John wanted to protest, and we told him he could not. But, I mean, us just wanting to do our jobs, how many times did we both look at that footage?
Mm-hmm.
Right? We watched that run at least 5 times before we moved on. Right? And then John sent his footage. I looked at his footage.
Yeah, the 360 cam footage was the really, telling footage.
That's the only thing that you could have really brought in the room and said, maybe there's a reason to look at this. But then I would still argue, why did John drive forward? At that point, I could have said, okay, worst case scenario, that run's a wash. We have to go back off the other run, right? And I would have said you're both at fault.
Yeah.
No, and for me, there's no scenario where John wins that battle with him going forward and hitting Rome's front tire like that, right? Even with that happening, I think for that to be appropriate, John has to be online, or whoever in that situation has to be online and tap the other car online. Driving forward, it's the same thing with Vaughn Gittin and Ken Gucci years back in Washington. Vaughn had said, same argument. I saw what he was going to do. I didn't want to wreck my car, so I drove inside.
Yeah.
And put 4 tires off.
Yeah.
And it's like everyone had to say, well, shit, we all have to assume that you can now predict the future.
Yeah.
So that you knew that his car was going to stall out a second later, like you went off track before we could audibly hear his car do whatever it did.
Yeah.
So we're like, damn, you're a future teller. And you drove off. It's just that's a box that we can all get ourselves into, and that'll be tough later on.
Yeah. I feel like this one, we just needed to see that footage.
Yeah, it's definitely a tough call.
And without spotters.
If this was FD and you lifted throttle in a zone and somebody hit you from behind, but you looked at all the data and you were not on throttle, that is now your fault for no matter what.
No,
they won't even look at the data. They'll just kind of do
Well, they never look at the data until afterwards.
Yeah.
This year they're going to try to do some data telemetry stuff.
But they have D-cell zones, so
they do have D-cell zones. So, mind you, we didn't have D-cell zones at all, right? Because we didn't have it practice beforehand.
We need to now.
So, if you can help us to rent the track for another, I don't know what would it cost? Let's see. I think we'd be about another 10 grand to get a private practice the day before, so that we could watch you guys.
It's not that hard to know where you're going to decel. You come off the bank, there's a decel, and then you're in a zone. The zone is an acceleration zone.
That zone is not an acceleration zone. It's definitely a decel zone.
It's
right.
It's a line that's hard to sort of draw in the sand. There is what it is, because either you need a ton of equipment to have a decel light or something like that can visibly show the judges when the car is decelling, or you need data that can show the car that is decelling, or you just got to do it kind of visibly, which is what we're doing, and going off of sort of what we have an understanding of what needs to happen on the track. I mean, when you're coming off the big bank, I mean, obviously the corner goes from being, a very wide radius arc corner to a very tight radius arc corner, so that you're going to have to slow down somehow, whether you're doing that with the throttle and just throwing huge angle. I mean, you can still slow down and stay at full throttle if you just huck the car completely sideways and pin it, So it's going to be a decel zone no matter what. It's a matter of, like, how do we measure it and how harshly do we judge on it? We don't have the tools to measure it properly, so we just have to go by visual. And, like, I'm telling you, on this battle, like, I'm not lying to you, I'm not a judge. From the roof, it didn't look like Rome decelled at all. I didn't believe that there was any e-brake pull or any funny stuff until I saw your video, because it looked like visually Rome was maintaining momentum until the point you hit him. That's what it looked like to me. And
I hate judging tire smoke. I get the point of it too, right? But there's such a wide variety of cars. Like, take Spencer from last year in an NA 200 horsepower shitbox. Like, his car didn't make a lot of smoke at Orange Show, right? So
the fastest way to drive is to make no smoke and have
how can
grip.
you judge? It's not really a good measuring tactic, I guess you could say, because someone can do maintenance throttle where their wheel speed's 80 miles an hour and they just, whatever tires are on, they're not making smoke, but they're still on throttle. And then you're like, oh, that guy's slowed way down. Not saying that that's the case here, but just as an example, right?
Yeah.
And then we could go back and review footage and he's like, no, here's my data. This is I log all my runs. Here's the run.
I'll listen to two arguments
like,
based in the same story. Rome lifts off, his car slows down, and Schaefer had said he had to lift off, right? Or was it he was on the brakes and his car sped up, right, and went forward?
I was on the brakes. And I got off the brakes to get out of the zone once he pulled the e-brake.
Yeah.
So then you just slammed on gas to get away from him?
No, he's picking back up throttle to kind of just to keep it sliding. You can't brake for too long. So,
well, to all of this point, remember Chelsea versus Vaughn in Long Beach? It's the same exact scenario.
Negative.
Chelsea's coming out to the judges' tower, and he pops a handbrake for a split second. We're talking a split second. Not even sure why he did it. It was so short. And Vaughn hits him. Vaughn hits him. And so, literally, Chelsea's pretty much losing the championship based off of this, one event.
Yeah.
Vaughn's moving on. They said it was Chelsea's fault because he popped the handbrake in an area where there should be no handbrake pulling. Well, later on, FD goes back and checks the data, and he was good. Momentum was not lost. That call was written down as a bad call. Yep, Chelsea should not have lost. His momentum was fine, even though he did pull the handbrake, did lock up his wheels. And they said, hey, is what it is. What are you going to do? We didn't find this out till an event later once we were able to sit down, pull the data, and look at it.
Yep.
But that's why FD's trying to do some data stuff now live. But, man, you just, calls are tough.
It's a sport that has a lot of nuances.
And this is where I say if John were behind in the right spot and he hit door to door, it would suck for the, the paint job and the and the door.
Would have been more obvious.
But he could have possibly won the battle and could have won the $5,000.
Yeah, it would have been more obvious for
freaking drifting.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's weird. It's really weird to me that I didn't see the deceleration. Like, I watched that battle closely and I saw the hit, clearly. And in my eyes,
you just got to watch the last run from before that and look at what he did different.
Yeah.
From our point of view, like I said, for me, it looked like he was pouring in more angle coming out of the zone, filling it in. And as he was doing that, it just looked like, John was on the wrong line and just, full throttled into him or whatnot. But obviously, after seeing that clip, in my honest opinion, I think, he checked up. That's if I could reverse the call based off of seeing that footage during the actual comp. Would I? Probably.
Would
Sorry,
you reverse
John.
your call, or would it just be? Would you reverse your entire call, or would you look at that run differently and then evaluate it based off of the run before? Because you still have.
I would reverse my entire call.
Because you had John leading, Rome chasing, and then
because John's lead was good.
I think it would have fallen back, as far as a call reversal, I think it would have fallen back to the lead run for me and deemed you guys at fault because obviously we can't analyze it, right, in that same context. So I would just split fault, go back to the lead run if we had the data that we have now. and then go lead to lead kind of deal, or
It was still
your
split
lead
fault
in his chase.
because John was offline when the hit happened, or
Yeah, I think
Okay.
being offline is you were online and then you boogied out. Get it? Totally understand it. Don't want to wreck the car, but
I look at it two ways. And we all know because we're all drivers, right? We've all driven so long. You see somebody make a correction in front of you or check up in front of you. What's your initial reaction? Adjust to that correction as well, right? So can we really fault if we saw what he's showing us now? Could we really fault him for that? It's a fine line of doing that because we all know different reactions to different situations. And yeah, I know John doesn't want to wreck his car too, but also in that split second, was he just reacting?
Yeah. Yeah, because I mean, like you came in, John, like what I was saying earlier, John. He was on the brakes, coming into the zone, and then like eventually you're gonna have to pick up throttle. And I feel like when he did, it took him inside, and Rome hung out where he was. Checked up a little bit even more, and it was just
So had he not hit, and Rome somehow got through that, John would have just been way offline and got deducted heavily for not following the lead driver. Right? On the flip side, because that was kind of what Richard did.
Yeah,
with
if
Jelly.
Rome didn't check up so much, I don't think John would have been on such an inside line.
There's a lot of what ifs on that
Yeah.
after that zone. We would never know what would happen after that zone. You don't know.
yeah, it's called What If Drift now. That's your new.
Yep.
What if?
Welcome
What
to
if?
the most controversial battle of HotPit Autofest.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Rome letting off or checking up in those zones too. Rome's car is slower. I don't know how much grip he's got in there. It doesn't seem like a whole lot. Letting off too could be a technique for him to get the car to slide out into the zone further, and it may look like it's also slowing up too. So there's different things that could potentially be happening in Rome's car that we don't know, and the way that he drives it as well.
Well, he was doing a good job of making sure he filled out all the zones. But with the black wheels, we probably couldn't see all the modulations he was making. But as I did say myself, I was like, damn, he's doing a great job of making that shit box fucking fill out all the zones.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And working that thing. Ban black wheels.
Yeah, black wheels suck.
Black wheels suck.
I can see why you anticipated and dipped out of the zone, even if it wasn't for saving the car, John, because he drove very shallow through his other runs and practice when he was using that car, right? And then you see him throw a big angle all of a sudden out of nowhere. So if someone's normally, you kind of get a idea of how people are driving, right? And then all of a sudden you see extra angle or a new transition or
Listen,
whatever.
guys, we've got issues.
No, we don't have issues.
Andy is
we're trying to get Brandon and Sam to
farting over here.
No, this is Gonzo
bro.
farts.
You just, oh man, you blame it on him every time. This is the air is thick. Okay?
That is fierce, dude.
All right, I don't think that there's much more we can do with this. It sounds like had we had 2 hours to discuss it, me and Riley would have said,
Next time we'll just stop the competition for 2 hours and we'll talk about it.
We'll talk about it, and we'll
yeah.
have all the rest of the drivers vote on it. Via 360 replay we can get from someone else.
Five podcasts on it.
It's one of those scenarios, and I honestly feel like the how do I say it? In this way, it's not that the better driver moved on. They're both fucking badass rippers. They both could have, continued all the way up. I just think the best call was made for the situation given to us.
Yeah, at the time.
At the time, right? Black wheels suck.
Yeah.
And I think Schaefer, I don't think you'd want us to zero people out just because they were a foot past the line there, bud. That seems like a pretty punk move. But if that's the boy you want to be,
I'm not entering late.
He's definitely not. He started from the start line.
We'll start watching him from now on, I guess.
He's gonna keep starting right from the start line.
If that's a rule, what's the point in even? Yeah, there's a 3-2-1 cone for a reason. There's a finish line for a reason. If he doesn't drift past the finish line, it's same thing.
Yeah. Yep.
The first battle, I think it's clear that he initiated on time.
Yeah, before the bank or whatever. Yeah.
Your one more time, it's a little hairy.
Yeah.
Yep. We're gonna have to restart the whole event.
We didn't have the same drone shot. for
Okay.
the
I'll try
second
not to smoke you out next time.
We're gonna move
Yeah.
on.
I think so. I don't know if Sam and Brandon are hopping on here, so we can
They're
kind of
on.
wrap for. Oh, they're on. Where are they?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Schaefer. Hope
All right.
that I don't think we helped him
Love
at
you,
all.
Yeah.
But we
No.
talked. He's just
Hey,
more
John.
heated. He's gonna do a fat
No,
burnout in his
no,
garage
you don't
now.
even know. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, it's pretty frustrating. So
No, yeah, we've all been there, man. We've all had those calls that did not go our way. Where
you
you
got
know.
Mr. Pro Driver here, and he
Mhm.
should know how to drive a freaking car at this point.
Ooh.
So-
Well, we do have call outs. Are you officially calling him out for round 2?
If he's not going to park in front of me and cost me the rest of the weekend, yeah,
Ooh.
maybe he should bring his pro car out. How about that one?
Ooh. Ooh.
John, have a
I think
backup
it's
car because
Some real power.
Have a backup car because he just had another one to just have somebody drive over to the track.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
that didn't get teched.
Bring the truck out next time. All right.
Cool.
Moving on.
All right, John.
Yeah.
It was a pleasure.
Thanks, bud.
Hope we had some clarification, and next time bring us your 360 cam footage right away.
I'll be up in that booth.
Yeah. He'll be walking up with a
right.
laptop next time. Yeah.
Yeah, I got all the data for you.
All right, dude.
So-
Later.
All right, later.
Okay.
Where's these other two dudes
I
at?
don't know. Oh, maybe I have to go to this thing. Oh, yep, there we are. We have Brandon Wicknick.
You guys making me want to get a tattoo.
Hey, Sam. What's
Get a
up?
tattoo? What?
We got
You
both
gotta
of
get
these
the
guys.
icing on your face.
Right?
Man, I was giving you crap, but now I gotta pee.
Go pee. Go.
Fuck.
Enjoy yourself. I'll deal with
Introduce these
boys.
two.
Yes.
Two-
Sam,
two awesome
can
guys.
can you turn your phone sideways for us?
Like this?
Perfect. So we are here with Sam Megumi and Brandon Wicknick. Brandon, you look so unenthused to be here.
I've just been watching.
Nice. Yeah, so we're going to go over your battle, which was a little bit of a weird one, but we'll get to that in a sec. First of all, let's do some introductions because you guys have not been here before. Mr. Brandon Wicknick, you've been drifting for a very long time, going back to Pro-Ams that we did back in, what, 2012?
2011, 2010.
Yeah, even back then. Yeah, we've been driving together for a long time. And you had some pro time. Did you do Pro 2 or Pro Spec at all, or were you just Pro?
I did both.
Okay.
For 3 years.
Okay. Then you did Pro before that, or you just did both every single year?
I did both for 13, 14, and 15.
Wow, that's a mission. Yeah.
I think Andy, Brandon, and we all drove Top Drift the same time too, right?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
That was all around the same era. Yeah, that early
was like
2010s
Was
era.
that Odie and was it Kato and
Yep.
a couple of the others?
Yep. All right. So what you got anything else to say for yourself here? What else are you about?
I did clutch kickers last year.
Yep.
And I'd probably be doing that this year if they didn't cancel it.
Mhm.
But I was trying to do both hot pit and clutch kickers. It didn't work to go to Florida and California in the same year. Just wasn't going to happen. So I'm really
Stretch it
happy that it worked out to go to hot pit this year.
Hope
Yep.
you had some fun.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep.
Cool. So let's talk to Mr. Sam here real quick, and then we'll go into your battle. Sam, how's it going?
Pretty good. I'm just here in Vegas.
So
In
Sam,
Vegas.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, he's out there for the Mint 400 demo. Yeah, with FD.
Oh,
Yeah,
sweet.
he's doing it. Yeah.
Hope
So
you're getting paid all the bucks.
So Sam holds a special spot in my heart because he drifts an E30 as well. But Sam, tell us about yourself. You are pretty new to the United States, yeah?
I moved to the United States when I was 8.
Oh, okay. I thought it was like only a few years ago.
Well, he's only 12 now, so yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, he looks like it. He's got the baby face.
Yeah.
I grew up in on the East Coast in Virginia.
Okay.
And I met my partner at Englishtown, New Jersey. And I just moved out to California and it's been here since then.
That's an interesting Jersey accent you got there.
Yep. Yeah. So yeah, I've been drifting since 2013, 14. And then I took 5 years off to build my shop, 412 Motorsport. And now I'm getting back into it and want to make my dream come true.
Awesome, man. Awesome. And you're driving a 1 Series now, correct?
I grew up watching all of you guys drift.
Oh, nice.
Call us old again. See what happens.
Yeah. Yeah.
Especially like.
Yeah. You gotta be careful.
830s, like Andy was like, "Oh, don't do this, don't do this."
You didn't listen. You did everything. Terrible.
I should have told him not to get an E30 in the first place.
Yeah,
that would have been the good advice. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So, some funny stuff happened in your battle between you two. Let's watch it here real quick because we have it. I'm streaming my screen, so if you guys want to watch the stream, you can. And let's
just play it in its entirety.
Yeah.
Again, guys, comment below. Let us know what you see, what you think about the battle, how it all.
Look at that American flag.
And we got Gary. Gary's commentating twice.
We got to turn Gary down again.
But then that's how you hear the cars.
Gary's loud.
Sam led first, so this would be the second run.
Okay, we're going back then.
Yep. We're not very good at this.
No, we're really bad at this. We're still learning. Damn, Sam with the angle.
Some colorful cars.
Looking like Skittles out there.
And this was, during the top 32. I feel like this was, I remember it being one of our very first good battles of the day.
Yeah, it was, yeah. Yep. Nice.
Sam McBoogie filling those zones. Now, this is a high horsepower battle. Now it's fair. You ever heard a 1v1, a fair fade? That's what this is right now. Two competitors with two competition level cars are driving right now. Ooh, almost some contact. Now, I would say right now, these are the two best looking cars I've seen today. Mr. Whitnick on Mr. McMoogie. Mr. McMoogie.
You get into them zones, Sam.
Mr. Whitnick
yeah. Zone 3. Almost.
How much seat time you got in that thing so far?
This is. There was like. I got like 18 laps in practice in it.
That's the first time you drove it?
Testing a car at competition sounds very Formula D.
Yeah, that sounds all right.
That's a really good entry up there on the wall.
Yeah, it was, yeah. Solid.
Zone 2 left a little early.
How is the 1 Series so far?
It feels really good. It's like driving an E30, but with a lot of more grip.
Yeah, that's what you told me. Is it still like nice and snappy?
Yeah, very nice and snappy.
What's the wheelbase?
That's a lot of tire smoke. I remember getting caught in his smoke at least twice where I had to come up blind.
Yeah. What's the
Andy just wants to know about the car.
Yeah, right.
Sorry. I want to know about the battle, bro.
Yeah. What did
you
say?
can talk to him about his car later.
It's interesting.
God dang it.
We're on a break here. They haven't even started yet. Look, here they go. All right. Now it's getting exciting. Oh.
Psych, tricked you. Oh, psych. Oh, they said trick me. Brandon going. Sam going. Sam.
Live stream
tricked us.
Yeah.
Brandon.
So.
Brandon not letting Sam get on him like a
this is a weird one.
But let's watch it.
I know we're watching the battle part, but we've already watched the weird part.
Well, watch the whole thing.
I want to talk about the weird part.
Hold on. Let's before we talk about the weird part, what was all of our reaction up top?
Now this is the best battle I've seen all day. Besides me fighting the toilet paper roll.
I mean, we all kind of just once they win again, we just like, okay, let's I guess we're
Race is
going.
a race.
Yeah.
So
the
initial reaction, from up top when we saw that on the replay being down low, it looked like he was a lot slower. As weird as that sounds, but up top, I saw him leave the gate. I saw Brandon leave the gate, and he was still rolling. So I didn't think a car shut off or anything like that because there was still might it be slow, right? And then it gets into the clarification on, well, it's always the shit you don't talk about in a driver's meeting that happens.
Yeah.
Right? Like, we talked about hitting cones, but we didn't talk about false starts.
Yeah.
So it's like, damned if we do, damned if we don't.
Real question is why can't Brandon drive stick?
Let me explain something real quick.
Yeah.
I think everybody that watched in practice or anything knew that my car was having trouble. And so the first thing I did is I went up to Sam and I said, hey, look, my car's not 100%. We've done some stuff, but obviously I can't test it before our battles. So I may or may not be good. And he's like, hey, you know what? I'm uncomfortable. I don't want to crash. I don't want to risk my car. And so I was like, well, I follow you first. So if I do it, obviously I'll know if my car has problems without really putting you at risk. And so that's kind of how we did. And obviously my car was doing well because I was able to follow him pretty well. And so that was the conversation we had up front. And then of course my car had problems in my lead run. And so I didn't know what to do, whether we were going to stop, restart. Like you said, we didn't talk about that. So as soon as my car started going, I went. And so, you know, that's all I can say about what happened factually.
So
on my end,
yeah, go for it.
On my end, when you came and told me that, I told my spotter, keep an eye on his car and see how it runs.
Yeah.
And then before you get to outside zone, the last outside zone by the wall, your car started breaking. Yeah.
Okay.
When the car got hot, and then Joseph told me, he's just keep it safe. His car's breaking up. And then I go to start, and your car died on the start line. And then I'm like, in my head, I'm like, I don't want to repeat what happened to Rome at Orange Speedway. The car in front of him spun out, almost totaled the car. So Joseph was like, just keep it as safe as possible. He already car shut off. So I was like, okay. So I tried to keep it as safe as possible. And your car start I honestly following you thought, are you gonna shoot a rod at me or something? Your car was running maybe on 3 cylinders. It was
5. It was 5.
But yeah, boosted car, you know how it sounds.
Yeah, of course.
I something gonna happen, and then I couldn't really put the car push because your car goes from inside the car, your car was almost dying, about to either running out of gas or something. That's what it sounded.
Yeah,
and then on video too, so I didn't want to take that risk and keep pushing, you know.
I think you did a good follow run considering the circumstances. I guess
push a little more, but I was a little it's a new car,
right, of course. And you told me that. I think the controversy comes from that start, right? Obviously, in hindsight, we look back and it's well, what we should have done is just had a restart. That would make the most sense. Honestly, when we pulled up the line, I thought, there's they're going to give him the win but then I realized the judging is different. We're not doing zeros. We want a good show and stuff like that. So I think the fair thing would have been to do a rerun, but I don't think anybody knew at the time what had actually happened. And we didn't know till later, till we all started talking to each other, what was actually the case was and how we should have handled it. And so that's kind of one of those, and like the judges say, that never, of course, the stuff they don't talk about is what causes the most controversy.
Yeah, but the thing is, I spoke to Rob and I told him exactly what's going on with your car,
Okay.
But I think Rob did not deliver the message to the judges. That was the biggest.
Well, let me ask you this. Had Rob delivered the message, how would the message be received? Would the judges in their head think, okay, we have to be mindful of Brandon's car messing up, and then now Sam's going to take it easy. Therefore, we have to totally manipulate our judging style based off the facts given? What would be the scenario that we would have gone with knowing that information?
You would know that on the start line that his car was not a fault start. His car had a mechanical failure.
I mean, it still doesn't. It doesn't change the perspective from the judges, though. Is the fact that they stopped, and then they went again, and from a judge's perspective, like Riley said, a chase is a race. It's kind of like a gentleman's agreement there, as if you guys go and
no, I do blame myself for it, but I'm all over it, and it was a learning lesson for me, and I was setting up my car. But Jeff, in the driving meeting, he said, put on a show for people.
Yeah.
I followed.
That's what we're here to do.
Took off, but I like HotPit, and I wanted to grow because it's local, and I was been in it since it started. So I'd rather put a show on and get more seat time in my car, and then at the time we all get mad and pissed, but I'm completely over it. And that's drifting, that's racing.
Yeah, I would have liked to be 100%. Obviously, Sam, it's ideal when we can both battle 100%. So for that, I apologize. It's one of those situations, right? So if Sam would have stopped at the start, would you guys have rerun? How would that have been handled moving forward? What would be the situation in some, or what would be the ideal situation if something like that were to happen again?
I think a restart at that point, it would be more clear, right? Because then it's more obvious because you both started rolling forward and then you barely started rolling, and then you just took off again, right? So again, it's always the stuff we don't cover in the meeting, and it goes
Of
back
course.
to, FD. Everyone's used to FD style. So do we want to dock something like that and continue the run? Do we just want to do a hard restart? What's the right call, right?
Yeah, there's situations where that can go real bad. Like
So
when
what would that even be in FD?
Like when Dylan Hughes stalled on the
Okay,
line.
but he stalled on the line.
Yeah.
Let's go back
I
to
mean,
let's
that's
rewatch it real quick.
Pretty much what happened here.
No, he didn't stall on the line. He drove out 15 feet and then stalled. Or did it roll that much?
I didn't.
No,
just to get, I never had to push the start button again. The car, it bogged and then took off.
So in
So it wasn't
Dylan's
like
case,
a
Dylan
full
Hughes, he legit just straight stalled the car. Like he didn't even move maybe 2 feet
Yeah,
at best.
Thing just died.
So that was deemed a false start, and I guess they just what happened in that one? He just lost. They just switched him.
Yeah, that was his run. They counted it as his
And
run.
it's like that just seems like the worst thing you could do, to not say, "Hey, that's a strike, move on."
Mm-hmm.
So in this scenario, easily you could say that's a strike. Now, if Sam would have hit the brakes and that would have happened, yeah, we would have definitely been like, "Bro, what do we do now? Do you have another set of tires? Can you do another run?" By the way, not to offset you guys, how many runs were you doing on a set of tires? Could you guys have even gone another lap without changing tires?
I was getting about 8 to 9 laps on one set of tires.
Awesome.
Yeah, same with me. I didn't have tire
So
tires.
we literally could have ran it one more time without even swapping tires.
Yes.
So,
Happen if I off and he was just fall behind.
and were you guys running new tires every time?
No. Like, let's say on that, what exactly happened, but I didn't wait for him and I just took off.
That's an interesting thing. Yeah, it's like if Sam took off and passed him and did a lead run.
Yeah, I mean this goes back to literally painting us in some kind of weird box, and this is how FD has gotten so complex.
Mm-hmm.
What would we have done? I would have assumed personally. I think I would have just assumed that Brandon's car was broken, and you would have probably been better off. I don't know. It's really hard to say.
I think it's pretty clear in most judging that the follow car should never surpass the lead car.
Mm-hmm. I mean, unless they
under any
break or
circumstances.
crash, you know.
I mean, at this point, it literally looked like you guys, from our perspective, I don't know if you can see Sam's head facing Brandon. It almost looked like you guys were looking at each other, and you guys maybe gave a thumbs up, and we're like, all right, we're good to go. I mean, the thing was, you weren't gapped at all, right? And you kept up with them no problem. So at that point, it was like, all right, game on. And in my head, I forgave any gap you would have had for the bank itself, just knowing some weird stuff happened. So, but by the time you would have got to outer zone 2 and 3, I would have expected you to make up the gap, and from there forward would have judged it as normal, right? That's the best I can do at the time.
I could make up for that gap, but his car was not allowing me to make the gap because his car was breaking up. You couldn't hear his car, but I have video of it, literally like misfiring so bad.
But Sam, imagine you're following a slow car. What's the difference? If you're following a 350Z with no horsepower, it's the same idea. You should be able to follow that.
No, it's true. Yeah, I could have left foot brake all time, but before the run, you got in my head, and then when I saw you broke down on like when your car bogged on the start line, I got in my head more thinking your car is just gonna shut off or not make it, and then just me totaling my car.
I see both sides of it, right? Because
I guess that goes back to what John was saying, right? Like, are you willing to risk the car to win the battle? And John, that was John's argument.
Yeah.
True.
So I see it. If you know you're following someone with a mechanical and a comp, like it comes down to driver,
That's
right?
a tough one.
It's tough, right? Yeah, you can follow a slow cart, and that's a great way to put it, Brandon, is like, okay, just pretend this guy's in a Corolla now all of a sudden.
It sounds like a sink is on.
Oh, yeah.
I had to battle Spencer like 6 one more time because he was so slow.
Yeah, so.
But yeah, like Sam says, you just imagine the rod's going to come out of the block anytime. If that's on your mind, that makes it hard to follow.
I honestly, that's what I thought. Like, your car sounded so bad.
Honestly, like, why wouldn't you assume that at all times with any of Brandon's cars?
Mean Joe.
You must not know Brandon very well.
No, that's the first time I met him.
Brandon's
And
will work with bubblegum, and he will make it work, though.
Hell
He will
yeah,
finish
that's
an
the
event.
thing. Yeah, he always makes it to the end.
Yeah, Brandon, I saw that you had to change your spark plugs after every run.
Yeah, it was rough. It was a rough time.
I asked Chrome, can I trust this guy? Chrome said, follow him with your eyes closed.
Yep, you can trust him.
I was hoping, because I want to push this car to its limit to see what I can do with it. It's literally, this is the second time I drive it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So Sam, what you got to do now is ask John if he trusts Rome at next round. And you can give him feedback because there's that controversy.
There's some heated moments.
What
there.
I'm kind of hearing right now, and what really sucks is you'd like to judge it like math, but both of the other sides, arguably they have a good argument.
Yep.
But there's emotion behind the argument saying I don't want to mess up my car.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, when I walk into FD and I line up, it's not even that's not as a judge. That's just as a competitor.
Yeah.
That's just not a thought in my head at all.
Sam's also driving Pro Spec again this year, so I think he's trying to keep his car kind of nice for that.
Yeah.
So I can see why he has that feeling. But, I mean, it is competition. You should,
The only way you're going to win is to put it where it needs to be. And
don't drive a race
hit
car
all
that you
those
wouldn't
marks.
push off a cliff.
Yeah. And that's as a competitor. As a judge and as an event organizer, it's definitely a tough thought on what to do. So let me ask my
it's just
trusted
a super
judges.
weird situation that I've never seen before in drifting, where someone stalled on the line. Because with FD, it'd just be a 0 because it's a hard cut, And here we're not trying to do that. And this was kind of like that gentleman agreement. And like you said, like I almost saw it too, where they kind of looked at each other from. We saw it up in the tower, like they looked and they went, and we were like, "All right, I guess we're judging this."
I did look over because I didn't want to leave. I didn't want to leave him behind. So I kind of watched, and as he started to go, I started to go and made sure that he could keep up. That's at least what was going through my mind.
Yeah. You didn't want to like play a dirty game, like slowing up and then trying to gap him or whatever. Yeah, no, I feel you on that one.
So Riley and Chris, how did you guys come to your decision for that battle?
Basically, it came down to the lead versus lead, chase for chase in my eyes. I'm a firm believer, even knowing a car has a mechanical, unless it's leaking fluid everywhere, I'm going to drive how I see fit in the chase, right? If someone's struggling or their car, whether it's mechanical or they're just getting comfortable and you start doing tandem practice with them, right? Like you have confidence in yourself and you know the car. Now, in Sam's case, it's a new car, still kind of getting everything figured out. You're testing on competition day, right? So
Yes.
You don't have that same comfort level as, say, Brandon or Jeff in a car you've driven thousands of laps in, right? Even when it runs like shit, you're like, I know what the car's doing. I just threw your butt. So I think if you're in the chase, if you know someone has problems, you give yourself enough space, but you get after it. Because you can still ditch out and save the car, right? Like you're going to play it safe and
yes,
the risk, or you go full send and you're there to win no matter what happens, and you just go.
True.
Just get on his door, and that way, if you do contact, it's not as hard. You just keep giving a little bumps here and there.
I was gonna say the closer you are, the softer the crash.
Minimizing the impact.
Hit him like Schaefer.
So, from my perspective, looking at the runs lead to lead, I thought Brandon had the better lead because Sam had those zones that he missed. Now, if we go back to the start issue, for me, I didn't know what the hell was going on. I didn't know if it was a false start. I didn't know if somebody jumped the line. I didn't know he stalled, and then just saw them go. So in that sense, it kind of looked like, oh, okay, I guess they figured it out and they're going, right? Obviously, Sam came up to me afterwards, and we had some words about it and stuff. But based on from what I saw in run, I thought Brandon had the better of the leads and the chase as well.
Copy.
Yep, it's for me as a judge. That's kind of I looked at lead to lead, and I was like, well,
yeah, you keep asking the judges what they think, and you are one of the judges.
I like to let them speak first, so no one thinks that I am.
No, you just don't want anybody to be mad at you. That's
pushing my opinion on them.
No, you just don't want these nice boys to be mad at you, or they're not going to come back to your event anymore and give you any money.
And when it comes to judging, just so everybody's clear, like when we're in the booth, we're writing our own notes, doing all that. We're not cheating off each other's homework. And it's like, okay, I think this. And then there were calls even at this event where it's like, why do you think that? And then it's like, okay, let's take 2 seconds. If we got 2 seconds while people are doing burnouts, let's try and look at the replay.
Mm-hmm.
Just so in case there's things we miss. So again, it's all based off the Mark 1 eyeball, right? Like
I think
that's as good
I
as we
played
get it.
Replay Man once up there. I found something and brought it down to you guys on the phone. Yeah. Yeah, that's just the kind of thing like we're not, this event's just not there yet as far as like just getting the live stream going is such a crazy task. You guys have no idea how much goes into just making that live stream happen. And then on top of that, trying to get replays and other screens for the judges and all that stuff. Like this is extremely complicated and it gets really expensive and takes a lot of manpower. It just goes beyond what we're kind of capable of right now,
Can I just say, can we give kudos to Jeff for all the shit that he does to get this event going?
Look at all his gray hair he's growing.
Very gray.
Yeah.
It's very gray.
Yeah. Well, yes, congratulations, Sir Jeff.
Well, thank you. It's
Yes.
very much of a headache, and ideally the goal is to have fun with everyone. That is the ultimate goal, and it just sucks that there's a few runs that didn't end up as the funnest thing. But when you look at it, and well, thank you again, Chris. Thank you for the putting that forward. But how would you feel if Rome went home on a 0 because he initiated a foot late, right? Or if Brandon went home on a 0 because he stalled out on the line. Right, and I'm sure there's a few more things if we really diagnose the shit out of it.
Like I don't.
How many restarts would there have been on those cones?
Yeah, but this one, like, I don't think it should have been a 0. It's a difficult one because like if it was rerun, it would have been 0 questions about it. It's like, okay, he stalled, whatever, let's just restart it. But since they both since he stalled and then they just both went, that's what makes it awkward and weird and kind of nothing we've ever kind of seen before.
So let's go down.
Basically, it's the judge's fault.
Let's go down the rabbit hole.
It's your fault.
We have a restart flag now.
Oh, you do?
No. I'm saying if we did.
Okay,
right?
yeah.
So at some point, you throw the restart flag. Brandon sees it. Sam sees it. They go to restart. Now, what's the next restart that we had? Someone that hit a cone? That cone was hit 20 times.
You're right.
No one was obeying that cone.
A bunch of people hit it.
But no one
fill it with concrete.
No one drove straight over the cone.
Like
everyone just hit it with their right tire or their back tire. They were on a bank. I don't think anyone hit that cone and was able to gain speed versus the chase driver. I think it slowed him up enough to do the job of the cone.
You think if you use the big white tall ones, the vertical ones, it would make it more...
Maybe,
because you could just see them. You could see them more. If the taller they are, the more it feels like you're in this wall barrier. Because literally, like in my car, I sit pretty low, and I have to like.
Oh no, I agree. I can't see those cones either.
Yeah, right. You can't see them very well.
So, how did you guys feel about the flow of the show and those battles? You listened to John's call. Actually, how about that?
What's that?
Did you guys watch the stuff with John's call just now?
Yeah.
Sam and Brandon. How do you guys feel about that call? How did that call go?
Honestly, I think John may be at fault. Maybe he's going to hate me for this, but we all know how Rome drives. We all know Rome doesn't make smoke. Drive at, less angle than everyone else. Like my spotter was watching almost every single one. I was timing the entry on every one so I can catch them. And, so I think it comes down on a spotter. Not telling what to do behind the driver that you're chasing.
Did John have a spotter?
I don't know.
Yeah.
So in that scenario, you think John's at fault for the impact. Do you think that we should have zeroed out Rome in the chase?
He saw, Sam, you saw the 360 cam footage where you saw kind of Rome checking up on e-brake and stuff like that in the zone?
I mean, Rome drive on the shitty tires. I'm not like trying to defend anyone.
Oh, okay. So
on a tire that barely make it through the whole run before it delaminate. That's how he drives, and then sometimes, and then you have John, who's super aggressive. He's like one of the craziest driver I've ever fucking seen. Like he's either on or off. Like there's no between.
So I'm just curious, as you as a driver, how would you like the sport to go though? So John's at fault. How about zeroing Rome initiating a foot late? give it, we'll deduct on the style and then
or
they'll-
just, I mean, if take it back to
Well,
the same incident, or just docking him a lot of
can't-
points for deselling there.
But that's natural.
You-
You are already
Yeah,
naturally
yeah,
deducting him for his weak ass entry.
Sam's trying to talk. Let him talk.
You have an initiation cone for a reason, right? You can't just have someone fucking blind the driver behind them from the start line. This is wrong in my opinion.
Wrong on Rome, wrong on Schaefer.
On Schaefer. Like, we all know Schaefer makes 300, 400 more horsepower than Rome's car.
I mean,
Rome's car, I tuned it, and makes 350, 400 wheel
yeah.
at best. And then he just go and light him up from the start line.
I think he's got money on Rome.
I mean, I get it, but like, I mean, that's just kind of like, if you can do it, why not? I mean, JTP lights him up from the start line.
You can't make a rule against something like that.
I'm totally guilty of doing that. I do that all the time also.
Yeah, I mean,
I think he learned that from me.
That's how you run New Jersey. That's kind of the only way to run, I mean, the old New Jersey track, a wall speedway.
You guys remember Tyler's old Z, the ASD Z that would just burn out in every gear in a straight line?
Yep.
It wouldn't make a bunch of smoke, but it would never hook up, and people always complain like, this thing's so slow. It's like, well, it's just burning out.
Yeah.
Can't go anywhere.
So let's get Brandon's opinion on John's
Here's the
run real
thing.
quick.
If you watch what Rome did, it's the perfect scenario for that. He waited till the smoke was out of the way, and then he initiated right where he knew he could get on his door. And I watched closely when you guys replayed it. It looked like he initiated before the cone each time. It was close, but it looked to me like his car was sideways before the wall each time.
The attempt was there.
I think it was valid.
The rule in FD
looking really
is
closely as a judge,
initiated.
I would say he initiated.
And how about the impact coming out of zone 3 or zone 2?
I think John was on the wrong line. Like you said earlier, the closer to the car, the better, the less impact you can get. He was just in the wrong line, I think.
I agree. Even though Rome looked like he was slowing up, I think John was already on the wrong line.
I mean, coming off that bank, honestly, like with that way that track was set up, coming off that bank, if you don't time it right, you're not making that zone.
Yes, another thing we're not taking into consideration, all 3 judges and myself have not driven the track.
I drove it in
coming off
sim.
the bank.
Yeah, we drove it in the sim.
Bunch of
but
times.
That's still a little different.
But again,
definitely different.
As the chase driver, your job is to follow that lead car, whether he angles up or not.
If he angles up and spin, you spin with him.
Yeah, my opinion is, again, you're right there, and you see him doing something funky. You just ride the lightning, because even then they were going slow. John was just really aggressive and fast, so I could see where he's saying, like, I want to save my car. But if he was back 4 feet in the pocket, I don't think it would have been the same outcome. And I told John too, I said,
or 2 tires
so let's
off.
say, let's say Rome's car's shut off, right? Well, he's not going to be able to link. He's going to dip out anyways because he's at full lock or stop. And then you would drive by him through that pocket, right? Because if he would accelerate from back in the pocket, he's going to miss him more than likely, or it's going to be very close. But, yeah, I mean.
Yeah, it was like the positioning of the car is kind of, I think, what like sealed the deal as far as.
Well, imagine this: if flip the script, if Rome was mid track and John was in the pocket, he's not following the lead car. Still, right? He would have been on a more gangster line, but he's still not following the lead car.
Yep.
It just so happened that it was reversed and he was inside and Rome was outside, right? It's the same idea.
Yeah.
You have to mimic the lead driver. So I think if he was deep and into that zone, that contact would have not been there.
Yeah,
when
agreed.
it comes to judging, right? I try and tell the drivers at all the drivers meeting, don't leave the calls up to us. Make a clear winner yourself, because then it's open to interpretation and the perception that we see, right or wrong. That's what we're going to judge off of.
Yeah.
So if you feel like, I don't know if I should send it. Well, if you want to win or try and advance, you need to send it as close as you can, where you're still comfortable to not give us anything to be like, oh, well, now we're splitting hairs, right?
Yeah,
and that's the hard part of judging.
Yeah, and like for me at least, when I'm trying to do good, I'm just trying to maximize what I'm good at, So whatever I'm good at, I'm going to do that in the battle, so that I show them,
Valid point.
what I can do. If I can fill this zone perfectly, if I can ride that wall, if I can do whatever I can do in the track, I'm going to try and do that every time in that lead, so that you solidify your victory, so to speak. Yeah.
So it's a tough balance to keep drifting fun, right?
Yeah.
It's a freaking
This is
tough
difficult.
balance.
I feel like we're right at the cusp right now.
And we
of
had
like,
a fun day where battles went fast.
Teeter-tottering on the hill.
Teeter-tottering.
Right now,
And it's I feel like I've been in FD for 15 years now. And
At least.
I've seen legit, or I'm going on my 15th year. And so I've seen all these crappy calls in FD, and it's what I really want to stray us away from. But
don't
it's
say that out loud. They're gonna keep giving you crappy calls.
Yeah. Crap falls downhill.
It's
It's just it's tough, right? Because you guys are gonna get put into this box, and then you're gonna ask me to draw a line for you guys. Brandon, you've been there and seen it. Sam, you're coming up through it now, and so some of the dudes have seen it. Some of the dudes have not seen it. Some of the dudes have even been on the sideline, like Schaefer. He's hung out with Trent the whole time. So you would think he's seen it, but he hasn't experienced himself yet. So when the shoe's on the other foot, all of a sudden you're pissed off in a different direction. And I've been on both sides of this freaking coin, and I hate both sides. Like, I beat Osbo one time because he beat it. And it's like, sweet, I beat Osbo, but how? Who cares?
I was very excited about that. I'll be excited for you about that.
No, I feel like
yelling
those are
and
the
screaming
worst
in the
wins.
tower, and Papadakis looked at me very upset.
Yeah, and he was fine for that year.
He looked at me and he's like just shaking his head. He's like, "Why are you so excited right now?" I'm like, "Bro, we beat you. Like,
Yeah, we beat
we
you,
beat
bro.
the pin. You guys are the pinnacle right now. I mean, it was a D beat, but still, like
those are the best worst.
My boy made top 16.
But like, even Jeff, when you chased, I think Chris Forsberg, and then he was too slow. Was it? That was like Utah, right?
You chased him in Seattle too. That's where the hatch
Seattle,
came up.
yeah, Hatch came up in Seattle.
No, there's another one where he was too slow. You expected him to be faster.
I mean, I hit him in Seattle twice.
You battled him in Utah too?
Utah. No, that was someone else. I lost against the hell's that boy's name? Simon says.
Simon
Olsen.
Simon Olsen.
Yeah, in Utah.
You'll expect that lead driver gonna give it all that it has, and you're gonna give it whatever it takes to beat them, and then they come with stuff like unexpected stuff, lower run or whatever.
That's part of it. That's why I follow terrible drivers in Assetto all the time. So I'm prepared for just the most awful mistakes that are made in front of me.
Yeah. Well, I've definitely found myself, from what he's saying right now, on the other side of the coin of being one of the faster drivers in FD.
Yeah.
And running into these dumb mistakes of chasing slower guys and not being prepared for it.
I do like that the judges have changed, I say in the last year or two, maybe 3, about really noticing the lead driver's mistakes and how it affects the chase driver, Because, like you follow all this funny stuff and you learn all that funny stuff, but there is always that situation where the lead driver makes a weird mistake or dips off throttle for a second too long and then just gets right back on it and creates a gap where, that would previously go unnoticed. I feel like I'm glad that they're really sort of being nitpicky about it. From a driver's perspective.
That's what puts us at odds, though, on certain runs, just like Rome and Schaefer.
No, this is the whole point.
If you're going to nitpick the front guy and then
lay
it all on the back guy.
But from a driver's perspective, I like the nitpicking because I feel like, maybe they didn't notice this guy misshifted on run up or something like that, or something funny happened, and they're overanalyzing it and noticing those things. And I do like that, but again, like I brought up earlier, like you need the technology and the manpower to support that, and the hot pit we're not there yet, Yeah.
Hey, Blaze Potts wanted to see. He said he wouldn't mind hearing a breakdown if you guys have time on his run with Rome.
Let's look for it. Is that top 16 or top 32? Do you know?
That would have been 32.
32. Would you have
let's
to
see
know
what Sam and Brandon think about his run.
Yeah.
I was just going to mention something real quick. I said this in the driver's meeting, but like, to your guys' credit as judges, there's always going to be a bad call. And if as a drift driver, if you can't deal with that, like it's going to be a hard time for you. Right. And so like in my perspective, I was fully ready for you guys to hand the win to Sam, and I was ready for that. It went the other way in this case, like Jeff said. Sometimes it goes in your favor, sometimes not.
That's true.
But like, you have to be ready for a bad call at any time, you know.
Yeah, it's not fun to deal with
saw-
either, you know.
When they gave you the win, your face was like so confused.
I didn't know.
What
Like you
happened?
said, we should have rerun it. If I would have thought at the time, I would have said, "Hey, tell the judges to rerun it," you know. But it didn't even cross my mind until afterwards.
Yeah.
Judging is
What
not
happened? No, you learn from it and then you just move on.
Yep.
as you think. A lot of people are like, everyone loves to be mad at judging, right? And the beauty is, I wish everyone could judge an event, especially when it's a whole mix of people you know, people you don't know, some killer drivers, some people that are struggling through qualifying, and then they put it, those I've seen that happen before too, where someone that's riding the struggle bus during practice the day before, and then all of a sudden they're on cloud nine, right?
Look,
You're like, where did this guy come from?
Judging sucks.
It does. Yeah, it's very difficult. Yeah.
Yeah, you have experience with it. You dealt with it, right? Like, it's
Yeah,
such a great
don't
time.
ever call me again for that.
Yeah, it's not fun.
All right, I'm out of here. I'm watching this whole thing with Blaze.
Good.
Oh, who's this? Is this Schaefer?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Schaefer.
Oh, you're back in?
Schaefer.
Where is Blaze's
There we
run?
go.
Oh, here
Blaze
we
and
go. Found
Rome.
it.
Let's hear. All right, let's watch it, boys. Let's get our opinions. Mr. Blaze Potts with
And Richard's still here too, so I think we should get multiple drivers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
let us know. I mean, that's what we're all about. I want
Yeah.
to hear the drivers' opinions on this.
I just want to come
That
out
way
and
they're
say
all-
that Blaze Potts has the best name of any drifter
He's
ever.
also got the coolest fucking car in the game.
This is true. Like, I
And a
love his
sweet
car.
mustache.
I am biased because it is orange, but god damn it, I've been a fan of his car for so many years. Like the livery, the setup, like it's always clean. It's always got its bumpers. It's got clean
Is it
wheels.
livery or livery?
I think it's livery, but
Shut up. You guys
go,
are
you
lame.
go live.
You guys
All
are
right.
I mean,
lame.
Blaze is missing a lot of zones here, but that one's good.
That's
I can't,
good.
I can't say anything.
Oh,
Yeah, you can see it.
what?
Oh.
Sorry.
Oh, I stopped my live stream.
What a jerk.
Hold on,
We're the
hold
only
on,
ones
hold on. I'll
watching
fix
when
it.
You're talking
I'll fix
about
it.
lives.
I'll
I'm
fix
talking
it.
about livers.
I'll fix it. I'll fix it. I'll fix it.
Terrible.
Hold on.
Terrible.
I swear I'll fix it.
At least no one's farted in the last 10 minutes.
Oh, it's coming.
See?
I did.
Okay. You should be able to see it now, if I'm correct.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Cool.
Reset.
Let's go back to
Reset.
the start.
All right. Coolest car in the game, right there.
Nobody stalled off the line.
There's two colorful cars again.
More Skittles.
Yep.
So not the gangster entry we would like to see.
No.
Not the crazy wall we would like to see. He got out there.
It's missing some zones.
Yeah. Marginal through the whole first section. Pretty good here.
It's got good flow though. Right?
Yeah.
He's flowing well.
Yeah, it's chaseable. It's not, he's not checking up on speed or anything like that.
Pretty smooth.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, very smooth.
And then late into OZ5, it looked like.
Yeah, it's hard from that low perspective to see. I feel like we should get a roof cam next time for the live stream as
There
well.
is a roof cam. I just don't know.
They didn't use it.
I don't know.
Something was up
I'm not
with it.
sure.
I saw the
I
camera
think
up
this
there.
is no. Sometimes I think you can see it. I don't know.
Okay.
I
Run
paid
number
for
2.
a roof cam.
Well, I think that's the one they put in the crow's nest from this view.
So
Yeah,
Rome
not sure.
initiates nice and early on that.
Rome's
one.
got a nice initiation. He's closer on the bank, so he's doing the harder part.
Yeah, Blaze is chasing.
Right.
He's not got the proximity, but he's got the line.
Rome is in the zone,
Perfectly,
filling
yeah.
the zone out real nice.
Blaze is shallow.
Yeah, little
Right,
shallow sacrifice on both these corners. Yeah.
Which is cool. Like in outer zone 3 like that where Blaze was, I don't fault him for that because he's still in the pocket and he's still in the zone, right?
Yeah, he did what he had
when
to
you're,
do.
When you're off that far,
He
I
did
don't
the,
remember
he did
if
the,
these guys went it one more time, but it was lead to lead, chase to chase. Rome was just a slight edge.
Did a
better,
pretty
in
safe
my
chase.
opinion.
I think Rome had the better lead, and I think he had chases
let's
were
watch-
both kind
alright.
of the same.
Let's watch Rome's lead right here specifically. So
Now, Brandon or Sam or Richard or Shelly or Schaefer, you guys can chime in.
Yeah.
yeah,
Walk us through it. Talk
yeah,
us through
yeah.
it.
I think Blaze had a better chase, but Rome definitely filled the zones way better in his lead.
Gotta
Okay,
have a
I
good
want to go
lead to
back
have a
and
good
watch.
chase.
I want to watch Blaze's chase or Blaze's lead again.
Right here, Blaze got on him really good in
Yeah.
comparison.
Yeah.
Well, he's also missing the whole zone though. So
True.
from that perspective, it looks like he's on him,
Mm-hmm.
but he's also pulling a Schaefer on, pulling off the
Pulling a
zone.
Schaefer.
Yeah.
That's going to be a thing now.
It's going to be a thing
Oh,
now.
man.
Well, Schaefer wanted us to watch this probably just so we can watch Rome not handbrake through the outer zone.
Yeah.
Let's watch that first run again.
Yeah, let's do it.
Poor Schaefer.
Poor Schaefer. I love you, buddy.
That's how you drive, boy.
Love you, buddy.
Okay. We'll watch the replay.
Yeah, Blaze just didn't make the tire smoke, Those Ken does.
Yeah, and he's not going deep,
Yeah, it wasn't
confident
deep
in
on
an
the
entry.
entry.
It's not that confident
Yeah.
entry.
He pulled a Schaefer right here.
There's a lot of bobbles coming into that
Mhm.
section.
Well, it's an FC.
FCs are amazing.
Jeff, you need to drive a BMW.
No.
Yeah, he hasn't turned to the dark side yet. I'm gonna let him drive my E46, and he's gonna change over.
Right here, gapped his ass.
It's gonna be like when you tried my
Hold
sim
on,
setup
gapped
for
his
the
ass.
first time.
But look at the zone that he missed while gapping his ass. Missing that zone, and then watch missing this whole first section of this zone. Now he got it there.
Yeah.
So it took him to Gapplebee's by missing the line.
Yeah, that was that one section online in the sim where we were talking about cutting in a little bit too.
Yeah.
And I feel like it was a good idea to keep it wide because it is a chance for the lead driver to.
So
make
this is all perspective,
take
and
him to
we have the
Gapplebee's.
best perspective in the judges' tower because we're up higher and
So
looking
we
down.
watched his lead pretty closely there. Let's watch Rome's chase really closely here as well because Blaze's chase was pretty good. There wasn't.
I think Blaze had better proximity throughout the entirety of the run.
I believe so too. I think. Yeah, Blaze was better through there.
What do you got?
Rome's pretty good through here.
Car and a half.
Rome does really good right here.
He doesn't
Anyone can chase right
yeah.
here. This is a tight section.
But also Rome doesn't cut the line as much as Blaze did in the chase.
True.
Rome was kind of still filling that outside zone. Rome almost fucked up a little bit right there on that transition. It was kind
That was
of
a late transition, so he
yeah.
got pulled away from.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
Well, you got to look at even his transition from 3 to 4. He he never adds the angle in. He pulls the angle out early, and doesn't ever. He just drives like straight right there. I mean, I know it's a cool little dive in, but there's no flare.
Does he do that in
That's how he always
in
keeps
the
that,
lead?
that proximity on you, but there's no angle.
I want to see if he does that in the lead right here.
Well, to the counter that, right? Like, okay, that's his traditional 101 style. Right?
Yeah.
We know he drives pretty low angle, and in that car, maybe in his pro car it's different, but in that car, you kind of have the playbook on how he's going to drive, keep proximity and whatnot. So I think it's a tit for tat thing in that sense, as when you're leading or chasing him, you kind of know what he's going to do. So if you're Mr. Full limmies, full angle all the time in the chase, sometimes it's better to dial that back, just so you know, like, it could get a little weird, right? Or you're just going to stay on the limiter and set your zone or set your proximity and just try and maintain that same proximity through the whole run, regardless of what he does, because it is wonky and black wheels suck.
Yes.
That's been said a lot. I think I'm going to edit all that together and do a clip.
Over
Just
and
how
over.
many times we've said black wheels suck on this podcast
So
tonight.
I again argue that Rome was online everywhere, allowing Blaze to be closer in proximity everywhere, while kind of cutting the line everywhere to get that proximity.
Yeah,
Watching
Blaze,
that
I
over.
do agree.
But how do you
Blaze-
guys feel about that,
Blaze
drivers?
took a bit of the shooter
That's
line.
what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
If Rome did such a good job in the lead, it makes it easy to follow. And so, to his credit, like, I think Blaze got good proximity because Rome was perfectly online everywhere, which is slow. It's wide and it's kind of slow to not cut the track.
Yep.
And definitely that very first turn, right? The outside zone.
Yep.
You're going to be smashing it, a little bit left foot braking, but he's up against the wall. He's doing the way harder part, and he's probably modulating versus being 5 feet away or 10 feet away and just floored, right? Because if you're 5 or 10 feet off the wall, you're not worried about it. You're floored. You're hammered down.
Yeah, and Blaze made the sacrifice in Outer Zone 2 and Outer Zone 4 to gain that proximity, or to gain that gap, like on the final corner and on that, coming off the bank. He sacrificed a little bit of that zone for momentum, basically,
Yep.
But is John in bed?
John's in bed now. Any other runs?
What
I
are
think
you
we
doing
made
in
it through
bed?
it.
John's in bed.
Any
I
other
think we
runs?
made it
Any
through
other
it.
I think we made it through. Did you have anything else queued up?
No, that we're 2.5 hours too. We're
Any
pretty
other good runs from you guys before John gets completely naked?
Yeah.
I wanna.
I want to touch you all over and over again.
Dun, dun, dun.
Was that it? Was that everything?
Yeah, that's everything. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, our last one was Sam and Brandon. We got Schaefer. We got.
You guys didn't have any battles you thought were wrong? Not this guy. You can stay mute. Mute that one.
We're not asking you.
Mute Schaefer.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, hey, 2 out of 32 ain't that bad.
It's not bad. No, you're right. Yeah.
Well, that's pretty good. Well, thank you guys. Really appreciate it. I hope everyone enjoyed something or learned something just now.
Yeah, appreciate the time.
Yeah.
And thank you guys for being here. And glad we got all this stuff sorted out. Got, opinions from all these different
I
people.
think Schaefer totally said that, our calls are justified.
He's going to fight. He's definitely going to fight Rome.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
there better be an official call out. Wait, unmute him. Let's see if we can get this official call out.
Oh, he is muted.
He is muted.
Why is he muted?
Are you gonna officially?
I don't do this call out thing.
Why?
I got
it's $100.
competition to win.
It's $100.
I mean, that mean you win.
$100. It cost me more to do that a lap.
You win 5,100 next time than fucking $5 grand.
Just bring the Miata. Just bring the Miata.
Shelly, who you calling out?
I'm calling out.
Oh.
Yeah,
Huh?
who you calling out, Shelly? Is Rudy asleep?
What's up with Rudy in the background?
Yeah, what is he doing?
Rudy!
What are you doing over there,
He's
Rudy?
passed out.
Hey, buddy.
Nice.
Hi. Hey, bud.
We sleep in the same bed.
When are you guys gonna call each other out?
Nice.
Wow.
You know what I was thinking? I want to see Rudy and Shelly call out LZ and Colette.
Oh yeah,
because the only couples that I know of.
Yeah.
Couple battle.
Yeah.
Couple battle jumping.
Yeah, we could do that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I got money
Couple
on the
battle.
Hansons.
I think I do too.
Yeah. I think everyone probably would.
Mm-hmm.
I heard there was
That's awesome.
a call out on a certain battle between TJ and Brandon on some vlog.
Wicknick here?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, TJ had something to say about that on his video. Someone called my attention to that.
Oh yeah.
What do you got? You got a call out?
Mm-hmm.
Because we're gonna be back at Orange Show. We can do call outs.
Mm-hmm.
I'm calling out Jeff.
Bro, if my car is
Oh.
running, I owe you
I'll
and
give one of my
margaritas.
car.
I owe you and margaritas.
One of my car.
The foreigners are trying to attack me. The guy from Jersey is trying to get at me, bro.
Hey man.
All right, so we got one
conquer
with
that
I got
territory.
one with Sam.
Mm-hmm.
Brandon's gonna call out TJ, or TJ already called out Brandon.
Mm-hmm.
Why did TJ call out Brandon? What happened?
Because
He
TJ
said I slowed up, and he hit me on entry, and he says I slowed up too much, or I wasn't on throttle or something.
Was that during Hot Pit?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why
it was
didn't we watch
Top
that?
16.
Well,
It wasn't that controversial. He hit me and popped out of gear, and then didn't finish his run.
Oh, okay. I
He
think I remember
broke.
that.
Yeah, he said he broke his.
Oh,
chip
man, you
or
pulled that up
something.
quick.
Yeah, he came up to Riley and
Probably the next
afterwards
one.
and talked to us about it.
He hit the wall like
He
3
shifted
times
or something.
in the rain.
He hit the wall chasing.
Hey, that little
him.
bit of rain ruined the track. I went out for one lap and I thought I was gonna die, so I parked.
We have wise fabs.
Rudy's like, don't hit the bank. Don't hit the last bank.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay.
As we're all pointing at the bank, like, come on, hit the wall, hit the wall.
Okay, so was there an issue with the rain at all? Because from the judges' tower, we didn't see any rain.
Outer Zone, no, on Outer Zone 5, remember everyone was looping it, and we're like, okay, you finished the course, and people would keep drifting, and everyone would spin out,
Mm-hmm.
and see
Yeah.
they'd see them spin out there, and then the next group of cars would go, and they'd spin out there, and we're like,
Mhm.
just stop drifting.
So wait,
Like,
is this the run you're referring to, where TJ just straightens up behind you?
Yeah, he hit me on entry.
Oh,
It's hard to
back it
tell.
up.
Oh, okay.
in the
Right here.
stream.
What do you guys think about Kyle's runs? Like how he set the car into a place.
He always sets it in with e-brake and kind of throttles through.
Dude, this guy was.
he
So,
doesn't-
I chased him in
Yeah.
in practice, and it's so hard to chase.
Wait, why are you calling me out?
Yeah.
Why don't you call Kyle out? Words like that.
He
No,
threw
I
me
like-
off big time when I chased him.
Damn, Kyle's got
You-
2 call outs.
You feel like his car is literally just off, and then from nowhere he lights it up and dip.
Hmm.
So
So
So-
hard to chase him.
John.
You like handbrakes like mad dog.
I think
Yeah.
like I
It sounds like everyone's calling Kyle out.
I think so. Yeah. Yeah.
Kyle's got to do a king,
Yeah.
of, the, king of the mountain, king of the hill.
Mm-hmm.
But he was probably the closest to the wall at the beginning though than anybody.
Well, apparently no one can follow him, so he'll probably do pretty good.
Yeah, maybe.
Where does he hit you? Back it up a little bit.
Yeah, he hits you right.
Right here.
Right about there.
Okay.
Yeah. Crappy
So
drone
from-
replay.
Drone angle.
Drone angle.
But if you watch the other run, like he enters on throttle, but he doesn't get on the wall.
Yeah.
Where I handbrake out to the wall, so I was slowing up, but I was getting on line.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I had a better line through there, but maybe I didn't carry as much momentum.
Mm-hmm.
He was
Yeah.
pedaling the car.
Oh, yeah.
He just.
The entry was really nice. Like if you flick it right before the cone,
It's almost
if
like
you
his car broke
and-
there.
and
Yeah.
transition throttle is, I think, is
See, in that scenario though, like your car was running like doo-doo all week or all weekend, right?
Yeah.
Everyone heard it
Yeah.
when you were down on track. I knew your car was running weird, and then I talked to Terry, and he's like, "We think we got it figured out," and then I didn't hear it run anymore, right? So, again, if your
Right.
spotters are spotting, they're like, "Hey, this car is running like doo-doo or sounds like doo-doo," so maybe give it a little space and then catch him on entry.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh, yeah, he
but
had
what's
it.
the right way to do
I
that?
guess
Right?
this is a perfect example of what Sam didn't do, right? Sam held back a little bit. TJ hit me because he was expecting more speed, where Sam dialed back and didn't hit me, and so, that's a perfect prime example of what Sam was talking about.
yeah. I literally my spotter was like at the last outside zone. He said his car started breaking up there, so keep it safe. And then when
Yeah.
he started taking off, and then I heard the car start breaking up, and I was like, I'm just gonna keep it safe, and
Damned if you
Yeah.
do, damned if you don't.
Right. It's a no-win situation. Like I said,
Yeah.
Sam, I wish we could do it 100%. I'm sorry what happened, but
next round for sure.
that's what it is.
Call out.
Yeah.
Call out.
Call out.
$100 on the line.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go. All right.
We can do it. I'll bring my
we
the
gonna
one I don't
we
care
gonna
for.
call it?
I was ready to call it at 2 o'clock. These guys kept talking. Listen,
Yeah.
you guys can keep
Hey,
the
wait,
Discord
wait, Jeff.
going. Oh,
Jeff, how did the event do? Like from your guys' perspective, is Irwindale in the future again?
Irwindale is probably definitely in the future again. Now, there's things that happen. Financially, we didn't do nearly as harsh as we thought we were. We actually did pretty good. There was a really good turnout. I think bodies on the floor were somewhere around 4,000 people actually in attendance.
Whoa, really?
Now, when you look at the
Yeah,
float,
there
you're
are a lot
looking
of
at
people.
like you're looking around a little over 2,000. But they're taking cash on hand. There's the show car guys, right? And so when I say bodies on the floor, I'm also including you guys, right? You didn't pay for tickets, but you were there, right? So you count, drone guys, media guys count. We know that we had like 42 media guys signed up. On our staff, I know that we had 25 guys. So I do know that, we were just around 4,000 in total bodies there observing, enjoying drifting. So that's freaking rad.
Mm-hmm.
Now, logistically, again, it's very tough to work at Irwindale, right? We were piggybacking off of their drag race event, and that kind of worked out. But a little bit of a headache, there's a few backstories that's going on there that
There was
I
some
don't even want to share with you
interesting
guys.
moments. Yeah.
Yeah, there's just more than meets the eye with every event.
Miscommunications mainly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just,
So what Jeff is trying to say is if someone wants to be a third judge so Jeff can do Jeff things for
Mhm.
Hot Pit, that would be ideal.
Yeah. I don't want to be that person.
we still need to hire an Andy Luck just to handle other people, though.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
No,
Rob's job.
no one needs an Andy look.
No, we need an
No.
additional security guard up in the tower.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then what about like a
Someone
a
to
guest
keep
judge?
Schaefer out of the tower.
What was it, Schaefer?
Someone at the door. Hey, bro, you're not on the list. Sorry, John.
I mean,
Guest
we're just
judge, you can do guest judge, but the problem is if we're not trying to be FD, you have to be kind of careful on your guest judge, right? Because they're gonna naturally judge it if they're a current FD driver or recent. They're gonna judge
No,
it as an FD.
like a guest, like a fan proud guest. So like when you guys
No.
then a
get or make
360
it
would win.
driver,
Luke
totally
would
Car
win.
better than the blue car.
How about you
It'd be
just
like
be a
asking a model.
judge,
We might as well
John?
just ask a model to judge, John.
There you
She'd
go.
be like, I like the pink one.
We'll just ask Cece to point the umbrella in any direction she wants to.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, we'll let her decide.
That one's loud.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
Funny.
All right. Well, I think we're gonna wrap it up. It is we're 2:45 in right now, which is longer than we were gonna try and keep it under 2 hours, and that
It didn't work at all.
Did not happen.
You guys are all awesome
at
nerds.
all.
We like talking to you. So.
And now I have like a lot more editing to do.
Good job.
I thought.
Hey, the cameras didn't turn off 50 freaking times.
This one's.
They did?
Yeah,
I just wasn't paying attention.
The two that normally turn off definitely turned off a bunch
sweet.
of times.
All right,
Yeah,
well,
so
sucks.
that makes my life terrible.
I'm just gonna go build a motor. I'll let you do this.
Have fun.
Awesome, guys. Thank you again.
Well, thank you guys.
Wrap in the Discord if you want to hate each other and talk about it. But
yeah,
we're
you
gonna
guys
get
can
outta
hang
here.
out here for a minute, but we're gonna cut the cameras and stuff. We'll still hang out on the Discord call for a minute too.
It's been great. Thanks for
But-
joining us, guys.
Yeah. Thank
Thanks,
you.
guys.
And
Thanks
thank
for
you
having us
to
on.
Mr. Cahill and Mr. Likeup. You guys are
Hey,
awesome.
anytime.
Thank you.
I prefer to have chats when it's not about judging.
Right? Yeah. Well, we'll do that sometime.
One time.
Yeah.
Good old days.
Yeah. All right. Well, peace out. Episode 8. Thank you guys.
Episode 8er.
Later.
Welcome to What the Drift Podcast with your hosts, Formula Drift drivers Andy Haitley and Jeff Jones.